Hey guys, J-Man here in the Danger Room. All right, and we're going to be doing an open talk today. So Falcon and Winter Soldier, obviously, I'm definitely is going to come up. Superman and Lois is going to come up for sure. Suicide Squad trailer, I'm sure we're going to be covering some of that. I only saw the first episode of Invincible. My escape room is back open again, so with limited capacity. So I'm there on the weekend. So it's hard for me to watch as many things, but I did get to see the first Invincible episode. I saw the Suicide Squad trailer just one time. I'll watch it a few more times, but enough for me to kind of give my take on it. And what else is going on? Snyder Cut, I'm sure that'll come up. And I am gonna open this up to people in the chat if they want to pop in and talk to us. So okay, let's bring in. Let's get. Firstly, if you are on here, please hit the like. Give me a blast on the like button. I'll throw that up there for you. Blast it for me, like my buddy Cyclops. Let's get Steve in here. Steve, what's going on, man?
Hey, man, how's it going?
I'm good, thanks. Oh, here Andrew is already in the chat here.
On.
How's it going, Andrew? I will be getting you guys in here, and I'm ready to fight. But we are going to be talking about Captain America. Sean's going to be joining us, guaranteed. If I send him the link. This Falcon and Winter Soldier, I had to go break these out. And a lot of surprising things when I broke these out. I have the first appearance of lots of characters that I didn't know I had, but now I know. The one great thing about these Marvel shows is that I have to go break it. Like, look, okay, I have to go downstairs and find the Captain America stash. So I have to go to the storage unit to go get the Captain Americas out because I'm like, I know I've got a lot of Captain Americas. Now this isn't really not that much. My Wonder Woman collection is like, I don't know, seven times that pile, if not more. But Captain America, I was in there. This one was, and this is my childhood one because it's like very loosely like just packed in a thing. This was 258. And then 258, and then I missed, I don't know, I missed so much. And I started again back with then 298. So then 298 up till that whole pile is almost all in order. So 298, 99, 300, 301, 2, 3, 4, 5. In there's the first Battlestar. In there's the first U.S. agent. Or John Walker, whatever, when he was called Super Patriot, I think. So it's like I've got all that. Oh, it's got that old comic book smell. It's so good. So yeah, did you get a chance to see Invincible at all? Any of it yet? No. Okay, I saw the first episode. I think Sean texted me. He's going to be joining us a bit after. I think Sean binged the whole thing. I don't know how many episodes there are. I literally just hit, I just went because I've got Amazon Prime, so I just hit play. And I watched literally as much as I could until this live stream because I just been so busy. We were catching up on some Godzilla stuff. My wife is a bit behind on all of the Godzilla movies, so we've completed the entire Millennium era. We started with that just because it was easy, and then we've done a very few Heishi era, and I'm like, you know what? Let's just go back to Showa era and just go from the beginning.
Yeah.
Because King Kong versus Godzilla, I'm going to call it that. That's not the name of it. I'm sorry. Godzilla versus Kong, because the whole movie's called King Kong versus Godzilla. Godzilla versus Kong, that is next week, man.
Yes.
So holy crap! Like,
yeah.
I mean, I'm super pumped. The reviews are coming in, and some people are like, "Well, the fights are really good, and it's shorter, and there's just a lot more fighting, but the human stuff isn't as interesting." Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. I'm watching Godzilla versus Kong, and I don't care about the monsters. I only care about the human drama. Like,
that's the reason I watch those movies.
That's right. This is like the Queen's Gambit. I just want to see the drama and the life story of these characters. I don't care if King Kong is in the movie. Who cares? It's like, it's so stupid. I love reviews where you could just dismiss the review and it's like, Godzilla versus Kong, two monsters fight. It's just boring. And it's like, no. That's good. That's what I want.
That's literally like, just take Rotten Tomatoes, just take those critics that are listed on, and just like delete the entire bookmark to that site. Like, just ignore it all.
I actually do ignore it.
Yeah, it's terrible, man. Like,
even if it's positive.
Yeah. Me
Like
too.
even if it's positive, I ignore the negative ones and I ignore the positive ones because I can't tell anymore.
No.
I don't have the pulse, or I guess I don't know. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. I don't have the pulse of people because to me it's like I'm watching this thing and if I'm enjoying it, I'm enjoying it. I go back to, and I think your dad mentioned this, or his attitude because he's been a movie collector his entire life, and or a movie watcher slash collector, and you get to a point in your life where you're like, I just want to watch something, and if I enjoy it, I enjoy it. I'm not gonna, like, look,
Hmm.
we took film class, right? You and I,
Yeah.
right? We took writing. You took writing, didn't you? Did you take writing class?
Yeah,
In,
I took English classes.
you
Yeah.
took English classes, right? I took screenwriting and stuff too.
Right.
I can analyze it. You can put it
Yeah.
up on the screen. I'll be like, well, it's like I know, but I don't feel like doing that every time. I just want to check it out and see, and have fun or whatever. Let's see what's going on with Andrew.
Yes.
Thawne. Oh yeah, yeah. I haven't seen
Yeah.
any
Um,
Flash. I know
so
I haven't seen any Flash. Like, have you seen Flash?
I'm up to date on Flash.
Okay.
Um, I can tell you that I like this season. Um, there was a villain. I'm not going to spoil anything for you, but there was a villain who came back
It's
this
Thawne.
past
I know. It's
episode.
Wells, right?
No, no. Well, Wells
Oh,
came back, but something. Well, there's something sad for me personally now with Flash. But they brought back another villain who you will know. And I realized when this guy came back in the last episode, I'm like, this guy's amazing. He's amazing as his character, and this character's just amazing himself.
awesome. I'm gonna catch up. I'm behind, not fully on Black Lightning.
Mhm.
I'm behind fully on Flash.
Yeah.
Um, Superman and Lois. Hey, what's going on,
In
Truth?
truth.
I love his new avatar. By the
Yeah.
way, I
That's
commented on
awesome.
that. It's the Nightwing. I haven't seen any of the Flash stuff. I'm for sure gonna like just catch up on it. My wife is she still wants to watch Flash. Black Lightning. I think she missed an entire season of Black. I think I passed her on Black Lightning.
Wow.
She's like, did you just pass me on Black Lightning? I'm like, I think I may have. I stopped watching Batwoman because it's just awful. Now they're recasting again. I
Now
heard.
Kate Kane's coming back.
Now that's the girl from Krypton.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's like super attractive. But anyways,
Yeah.
she
How
was
did
great in
Ruby
Krypton.
Rose become this woman? They're like, oh, she had some disfiguring accent. I'm like, we should all have that disfiguring accent. Like,
She's gonna. That's right. She got beat up and she wakes up and now it's her. It's like, wait
she's
a
the only
minute.
character I know who's been disfigured and looks better after the accident. Like, what the hell?
Right, right. It's like Darkman, but like the other way. They should do another Darkman. Yeah. Reverse Flash is like, well, Reverse Flash is awesome.
The best,
Like,
the best non, I guess, Black Lightning CW season may have been Legends of Tomorrow season 2 when the Legion of Doom was there. When you
that
had
was cool.
Thawne with the John Barrowman Dark Archer,
Merlin.
Merlin, and then there was Damien Dark. The three of them
Oh, they were
against the
cool.
Legends, and no joke
No
nonsense.
stupid
Just
stuff. Yeah.
that was like I love that season. I could not stop watching it.
For the first season with Vandal Savage going through time,
Yes, that was
like
amazing.
that was awesome. And Vandal Savage is a piece of shit. And
Yeah,
and you know what? Like you wanted to see him get beat up, and that's the point of these villains. Top three Rivers villains refer to, yeah. Deathstroke
all
is
three are
awesome
awesome.
too.
All three are awesome, man. Deathstroke was great.
Yeah, he's
Um,
great.
and John Cryer was excellent as Lex Luthor. Unfortunately, the show he's on his ass, but he himself was great.
Yeah,
No doubt.
yeah, he is great. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Disclaimer: only
Only
good
good
for
for
one.
one
No,
season.
I know. Well, I still like Black Lightning, man. I didn't see the
Yeah.
new actress who they changed for Jennifer, but I liked Black Lightning. For
Yeah.
me, it's the characters. See, this is the thing. It's like so far the villains are good and some of the heroes are good, and then that's where you start getting into some problems where you get a season where the villains aren't as good, or you get a season where the heroes, like there's that one season where like Iris was running the show. Remember? I'm like, why is Iris? She's like, okay, Barry, run around and punch him. I'm like, why are you telling the Flash what to do? That was stupid. That was like when
So
Cisco was gone or whatever.
so season 1 of Flash, way up here. And then I still want to
Yeah, don't worry. Yeah,
Yeah.
just keep going. I'll highlight the comments as well.
Yeah, so season 1, excellent, obviously, with Flash. Season 2 is still very good. Zoom was pretty cool, but again, another speedster. And then season 3, I forget his name, but it was like Future Barry. That season was garbage. It was just like they kept like, oh, Iris is going to die. Iris is going to die. Iris is going to die. I'm like, get rid of this thing, man. This is terrible.
That was boring. And then Cicada came in. He was all right.
Cicada came in season 5. Season 4 was Thinker. Thinker was a terrific season.
And Peter Capaldi is Thinker in Suicide Squad.
Yeah, I know, man.
Dude.
And then season 5, Cicada was good. Season 6 feels incomplete, but that's because of COVID.
Yeah.
Right. I like Mirror Monarch a lot. I like that actress, and I think that was a decent idea.
Yeah, that was all right.
I still want to see Joan Carter fight.
I know. Well, but this Alexander Luthor
is cool.
Is so cool.
Yeah.
I gotta tell you. And his entire damn angle now, where he's in love with Lois and it's not his Lois now. Oh my God. It's like he's so good. That actor's I actually liked almost all of Arrow. There may have been one or two right in the middle where I don't remember enough of the seasons to tell you this one or that one. Like it started off strong and it dipped, but then it kind of came back, I think, a little bit in the end. First 2 Flash was good. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Cicada was trash. I know. I'm not pumped up enough for him to fight over that. Like I'll just be like, okay, no worries. If some people liked it, some people didn't. Suicide Squad. I mean, okay, well, Steve, Suicide Squad has been your thing for a long time.
Right.
You've been collecting. Have you collected every comic?
Not yet. But I have collected.
Well, you started from at least New 52, no?
New 52, I've read literally everything.
Okay, that's what I mean. Nobody's. We're not going back. I mean, I've got Suicide Squad issues from like a long time back.
Yeah.
But like, let's say New 52, I read a few with you. Yeah. Rebirth, I read a few.
Yeah.
And then just the most recent one I've read, the most recent one with Peacemaker being the leader. Right. So Suicide Squad, the first movie, they need to release. Whatever, hashtag whatever, air cut or whatever, if there is such a thing. But what do you think of Suicide Squad 2 trailer?
Okay. I thought this, and watching the trailer, I think this more. The guy who needed to make the Suicide Squad is the guy who made it. Suicide Squad is an off-kilter, weird movie, right? Where the heroes are not really heroes. Yeah. And there's sort of humor, but not really humor. And James Gunn is the perfect guy to direct Suicide Squad. I'm now convinced of that.
I thought what Truth was saying. It felt like it's basically Guardians of the Galaxy, but Suicide Squad, so there'll just be more violence. Which sort of would you agree with this, Steve? That perhaps Guardians of the Galaxy wasn't as accurate as it should have been to the comics. Let's ask Sean when he comes, because he read the Guardians comics. I only read the first few. I almost feel that Guardians of the Galaxy was one of those ones where it was a super fun movie, but not so much really a Guardians of the Galaxy accurate movie. Right. Whereas Suicide Squad looks like it's more fun, but maybe it should have been darker. I almost feel that we like maybe Zack Snyder should have directed Suicide Squad.
No, Suicide Squad is a mixture of extreme violence and utter hilarity.
Right.
Like you have Harley Quinn in there, and this looks like Margot Robbie has really grown into Harley Quinn. When it's going there, it's like, have you done this? Have you done this? If you have designer license plates, blah blah blah.
That was the funniest line. I laughed.
And that would be from Suicide Squad. Like with Harley Quinn there, she'll make a bunch of jokes and then take out her oversized mallet and brain someone.
Right.
It's literally like it's bizarre. Like, there was this whole thing where like they were going off into space, and like Killer Croc was in his the helmet. He's like, oh, he gets motion sickness apparently, Killer Croc, and he like throws up in his helmet. So you just see his helmet is like vomit, and everyone's like, ew, well, I'm like, it's Killer Croc. Like, this is preposterous, but it works. If this was a Batman comic, it would not work. It can only work in Suicide Squad. It's off kilter, it's offbeat, and someone who comes from trauma, which James Gunn does, is the perfect guy to direct that sort of thing. If you're going to be true to the comics, which it looks like it is.
Yeah, that's why James Gunn, like anyone who knows him from like Guardians and all that, it's like if you go back, like because like we watched like Slither. Did you see that in the theater with me? We like and like we're going back to like I don't remember all the whatever trauma stuff he was involved in, but I don't know if anyone out there in the chat knows trauma movies, but they're very like they're pushing the buttons. They're doing very like dark humor, like Toxic Avenger has like a baby getting run over by a car, right? Like like and then like if you watch Toxic Avenger Part 4, they have the diaper mafia, which is making fun of the trench coat mafia. And they literally go to a home or they go to a school for special needs children and they're like gunning them down and stuff. And you're like, this is pretty crazy. And this is where James Gunn is coming from. And then they're like saying, oh, James Gunn's tweets and all that. Yeah. And Disney's all pissed off with them or whatever. It's like, yeah, but guys, you hired James Gunn. Do you know what trauma is? Like, have you watched anything that this guy's been involved in?
Yeah.
It's all weird, crazy shit.
Yeah.
So let's see how that goes. Thor movies. Hey, Battle Angel, what's going on? Yeah, like so Thor movies in the sense that they're fun movies, but maybe not the best Thor.
Yeah, I mean, I actually don't think they were fun until the third one. The first two were kind of, I don't know, they were a bit of a slog.
I agree with that. So FYI, I love Roger Corman. I have like, they were releasing Roger Corman collections. It's impossible to get them all, but I got like the main big ones that everyone knows, Humanoids from the Deep, that Galaxy of Terror, all those like pumped up one. Brennan, what's going on, man?
Hey. That's that Roger Corman had a budget. That's James Gunn.
Yeah. Roger Corman. Okay, Roger Corman could film the fall of the Roman Empire with 2 bushes and one guy in sandals, and it'd be the fall. It'd be the fall of the Roman Empire. Okay, it's like we've seen these bushes already. Just change the angle. Put the bushes over here. Replace them. Like put one further away, and it'll be a new area. So Suicide Squad 2 trailer. Look, I like that there's a lot of cast, which means a lot of people could get killed. So that's good. Also, Peacemaker looks awesome.
Yeah.
John Cena is great. I love the banter. This is the first time where I laughed out loud with Harley Quinn's dialogue.
Yeah.
Normally, I like Margot Robbie a lot, and I like Harley Quinn, and I think she's very fun in her movies. Birds of Prey is a disastrous mess, not for Harley Quinn's character, but for all other characters. Right? Like all the other characters were really ruined pretty badly. They should have been a lot tougher. For a movie that's supposed to be about girl power, the female characters seemed very weak in comparison to their counterparts in comics, where Orphan can kick the crap out of anybody.
Orphan, that was a disaster because
that was a disaster. Yeah.
If you knew the Orphan character, like if you saw her when she was Batgirl in No Man's Land or Rebirth when she was Orphan, she's one of the best characters, probably in DC. Like,
she's a good,
awesome character. She can fight Batman, which no one can do, hand to hand. And that was a disgrace. What they did.
That was a disgrace. And the thing, and then you can have whatever people you want to argue about, whatever characters are portrayed in comics or versus the movies, but like that was the complete opposite of, it's like dopey ass kid versus a ninja. Like Orphan is a ninja. She's like an assassin. I mean, I don't understand why that was such a and you think it's like, well, we want strong female characters. Yeah, they picked the right ones. Cassandra Cain, check. She's great. Huntress, check. She's cool. Black Canary, check. She's cool. It's like, well, let's make them dopey. And they just heard Harley Quinn. I mean, I just don't understand that. Anyways, but obviously Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn is awesome.
Yes.
And she's awesome in the first Suicide Squad movie. But this is
Yeah.
the first time when she said the license plate thing, I actually laughed. I was like, that's very funny. And then she's like, and you can't cough. You know,
Yeah.
you have to cough if you don't cover your mouth. And he's like, and then Flag is like, well, that's not an invitation. He's like, to not cover your mouth. Like, okay.
I
mean,
just love the vibe from that movie. Like I was just sitting there and listening to it. I'm like, this sounds like great. Like I don't know what's going on. I saw everyone. King Shark CGI. I think the Flash one looked better actually.
He looked more sinister in Flash, I think.
Yeah.
I think he looked scarier in Flash, which is kind of a fail, a little bit, I guess.
He looks a little cartoonish in this one, but like, we'll see how it is, right? Like,
what about Starro?
I know.
Like, so I'm watching the trailer and they're like, I'm like, Starro? Is that what the hell? Anthony, what's going on?
Starro is Anthony.
Starro. Like, Starro is in this. I can't believe it. Like, this is crazy. Is that the villain? Like, what the hell's going on?
I have no
idea. Yeah, I have no idea.
Polka Dot Man looked great.
Yeah, he's a good actor. He's from Ant-Man. And, he's from the Ant-Man series.
Well, and he's Abracadabra from Flash.
Yes, and he was also in the new. What's the guy who can make any MacGyver? He's one of the villains in MacGyver. I know. I saw your thing on that. Truth. I saw your take on that. Yes, I hope they don't do that because I don't want to. I don't want to sillify. If is that a word? Sillify? Make the character silly. I just made up a word. I like sillify. I just made up a word. I think
that will be the one mistake they made that I can tell they might make right off the bat is that King Shark is a man-eating killer. Like he's basically like the muscle of the Suicide Squad, right? Like, and he'll eat his own teammates.
Yeah,
like he's completely unpredictable. So if they make him, and I think Sean actually called this, he's like, oh, they're going to make him like the surf dude guy. And I sort of went like, if they do that, that's a bit of a fail.
Yeah, like I'm a total, you know what? I'll tell you right now, I'm an equal opportunity pointer out of characters not being the characters. Like when I say I don't feel that Wonder Woman would behave this way, I'll point out I don't think King Shark would behave this way. Like, I'm not just going to get angry at the characters, you know, that I like. Like, I don't care about King Shark at all. So if they make him a surfer dude, that's not going to be anything to me. I don't care. But it's not the character. I don't even care about Cassandra Cain. Like, Orphan's a cool character, but I'm not dying over her. It's not Batman or Robin or Nightwing. You know what I mean? Or Batgirl. Yeah. But I don't like to see the character have a disservice to that because it's not fair. It's not fair to the creators. I mean, I've created characters, and so have you. Both of our books are available on Amazon. But if it's a disservice, it's a disservice. And if they make King Shark the baby Groot, I mean that'd be brutal, right? Because I don't want that.
No, I don't want that.
Yeah, King.
Yeah,
he's smart and exactly. He is like the animal where when a shark is hunting and getting ready for the kill, then it's like peaked, right? It's like okay. Right. But then if a shark, you know, if it's just swimming around, it's all full, you can escape it or hit it or something. I don't know. But yeah, King Shark, we'll see what happens with him. But it still looks like a fun movie. So this might be one of these times where it is like what's like a Thor 3, like Thor Ragnarok, where I think this is a super fun movie. Is it really the Thor representation from the comics? I guess not, because he's a bit stuffy. But people seem to like it, so it's hard to. It's one of those things where it's hard to argue with people because they're like, no, I love this goofy Thor. Like, I didn't want to see Potbelly Thor. Like,
no,
I don't think Endgame is like super perfect. Like, I don't like that Thor at all. I really didn't like that at all. Because I like Thor. I collected a lot of Thor. I had 2 Thor collections. I gave one to a friend of ours from the escape room. Who started? He was starting to collect comics and he liked Thor, so I started him off by giving him the first 40 issues of the relaunch of Thor. Yeah, I gave him the whole thing. I was like, "Here's the first 40." I went every week and got Thor, so I gave him that. They're not really worth anything, but it's a good starting off point for him. And previous to that, I had sold a Thor series that I had at one of the shows that I was at. So this is going to be one of those times where this will be like a fun movie. You'll just eat your popcorn, watch it, and then that's it. But for the Suicide Squad people, I don't know. We'll see if it's a disservice to the characters or not. And Steve, I'll defer to you when that movie comes out. And you can tell me what your thoughts are because you're more of an expert on it than I am.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting. Like, I want to see. I will say that it didn't turn me off right off the bat. So I have some hope for it, but I'm not sure. Like, the King Shark thing did throw me.
Yeah, it was kind of silly.
But I loved Margot Robbie's stuff as Harley Quinn, and I don't know, that was perfect.
I don't want too many
John
comic
Cena's
relief
Peacemaker.
Yeah. I don't want too many comic relief characters.
Yeah.
I don't like. There needs to be serious characters who are not comic relief to break up the comic relief. Like, this shouldn't be a comedy film.
No.
So let's see what happens. It hasn't. It's not out. I'm always, let's see how it goes. Brennan. Oh gosh, which director? Well, I want John Milius to come back and do Conan Part 3 and get that trilogy done. John Milius, Conan the Barbarian is my favorite movie. Conan is in my top 10 favorite fictional characters of all time, along with Superman, Batman, Tarzan is in there, Spock. Who else? These are all the characters I love. I need to see something with Conan, and I need to see it now, not in 5 years. I need to see it now. Start production. I've been promised Conan Part 3 since I was a wee lad, and I watched Conan the Barbarian 4,000 times, and then I watched Conan the Destroyer 4,000 times, even though it's not that good that people say that. I don't care. Conan gets a team of people. Conan the Destroyer is like the Marvel version of Conan. Yeah. The writers of the Marvel Conan helped in shaping that movie. So I want to see John Milius do Conan. Bring him back. John Milius is a badass guy. Like, he did Magnum Force, which is the second Dirty Harry movie. He's pretty tough. What about you, Steve?
Well, I think I would love to see Sam Raimi have done Hulk. I would have loved
interesting.
To see that, because I think he could get into the psychology of the character, but he could still make a fun movie. So that's a really good question. But to me, Sam Raimi did Spider-Man. That's cool. I think Hulk was more up his alley because Hulk is more of a horror-ish character who he could have a little bit more fun with. You know what I mean? Like, Spider-Man actually needed to be directed by someone like who is that? The director who did It's a Wonderful Life.
Like Frank Capra?
Frank Capra. He needed to do it because Spider-Man's very wholesome, very like whatever. But like Sam Raimi, you need someone weird to do Sam Raimi. Like John. My God, I'm terrible with names now.
Why? I used to go to you for the names.
I know.
You're fired from the names.
I know. I should be. The 2003 Hulk. The guy, Ang Lee. That was a great person to direct Hulk, right? Yeah. He was a great guy to direct Hulk because he got it was. It was just too slow. He sort of forgot the Hulk parts.
Right. He did, like, literally. My mom watched it. She's like, "This is a great dramatic film. That's a very sad telling of this poor man." I was like, "I know, but we also want to see Hulk beat up shit, right?" Like,
yeah.
Like, that was not like you needed all of the coolness of Incredible Hulk, with a little bit more of the heart of the Ang Lee Hulk.
Yeah.
So when I end up going to Incredible Hulk when I need to watch a Hulk movie, because ultimately I'd rather have like Edward Norton running around trying to cure himself. It felt kind of like the TV series, but it didn't have the drama of the TV series. The Ang Lee Hulk had the drama of the TV series, but it didn't have the fantasy of Incredible Hulk. There still needs to be something for him to battle. Like, if there's a Hulk, it's like Godzilla, guys. Look, if Godzilla's not fighting a monster or something, like, what the hell am I watching? Like, what was that garbage? Was J.J. Abrams in that? What was it? Was that Cloverfield with that garbage monster movie?
Oh God, yes.
Right. The monster didn't do anything.
He just produced it.
That's why, yeah, he produced it. So
Yeah, it was pretty garbage.
it was garbage. Where's the like?
But
It's a giant monster with no monster. Like, what is that?
but the problem ends up being, and a lot of guys don't realize this. We need Conan 3. Just give all the
Yes, yes.
yes, Conan the King.
Trash.
Trash
I know. JJ is trash. A moment of silence for the DC universe with JJ directing it. All right.
So the problem is that, and I'm going to use Tarantino because everyone wanted Tarantino to do Star Trek.
Right.
And what I had this conversation with Sean.
Long dialogue scenes.
Is
Talking
that
about McDonald's?
Is that you don't want an auteur, and
right.
I'm going to say a trilogy of movies that everyone loves, but I'm going to sort of say something negative about it. You're going to get what Christopher Nolan did with Batman,
right?
In that he's going to put his own spin on it. It's going to be an interesting movie, but it's not really going to be Batman. So that's the problem when you have an auteur, and you're hiring auteurs. Like, you want Tarantino to do a Tarantino film, but he's going to do it like Tarantino. So if you're a Star Trek fan, you're probably going like, "Oh, this sucks."
Right?
Why is everyone swearing?
I'm a Star Trek fan. Yes, oh yeah, that Terminator is dead. Moment of silence for the Terminator franchise. It's dead.
It's dead.
Dark Fate, ironic title.
But well, it kind of needs to be though, because
JJ needs to do nothing.
No,
JJ needs to retire. Hashtag JJ retire.
JJ needs to get a non-filmmaking job.
Tarantino, I agree. He would not want Star Trek. But I love Tarantino. I own all his movies. Yay.
Yeah, me too. But he can't. I don't want him to do Star Trek. I want him to do Tarantino. He's an original director. It's the same with Nolan. Let Nolan make Tenet. Hopefully you can hear his movies, but let him do Tenet and Interstellar and The Prestige. Let him do those movies. And God help me, maybe he can actually make another Memento, which was still his best movie.
We're gonna need to do a Tenet. I like Tenet a lot. Actually, I've watched it a couple times.
Are we doing an MR on Tenet? Is that what
we'll have to do like no. We'll have to do a Nolan talk or something and go through all the movies, because I think Christopher Nolan is a very, very good filmmaker.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
My problem happens when people come up to me and be like, "Holy crap! Did you see Inception? That was the greatest thing ever made." I'm like, "Oh, yeah, it was really good. I liked it." No. It's the greatest movie ever. Yeah, it was really good. No. It's like, what movies have you watched? Like, have you seen anything other than Inception? It's like, it was a good movie. And you can't, we walked out of that. I was like, that was cool. Like, all of his movies are good. I think Interstellar, I think Memento was his neatest one. And I like Tenet. I like Tenet a lot. I don't remember the actor's name, the main guy in Tenet. I was just with him. I don't know why. He was nameless. He's just called protagonist, right? Like the character's name is just protagonist.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I got into it, and I was really following like his investigation, and like the whole like reverse entropy or whatever was kind of neat. Hey, hello, thank you for the Spock. That is my cousin Tiffany. Battle Angel, what do you got?
Not good movie.
The movies, yeah. Look, no, there's some cool movies. Inception had cool stuff going on. Memento had cool stuff going on.
Prestige
had cool stuff going on. Tenet had cool stuff going on. Interstellar had cool stuff going on. What else they do? The Batmans. Look, say what you want. I don't like the way that characters were handled. As much as we bagged on Snyder's Batman, at least in the portrayal of what Batman looks like and what he does, and the fact that he's like actually like has some fantasy in it, and there's better visual shots with Batman in the Snyder stuff. It's like, I don't like, Nolan had like a cohesive trilogy, I suppose. I just don't like the way it went.
Right.
That was my thing. Like, and I don't know. I like Christian Bale. I don't know. The Snyder Batman feels more Batman to me than the Nolan Batman. And everyone knows I didn't like Snyder Cut, right? So, but at least Batman still seems like Batman to me. I just felt like the Nolan movies, they're very good movies. We watched them and a lot of people like them. And they're good. Like Dark Knight, that's a great movie. I think Batman Begins was probably my favorite one.
It
and
is.
I didn't like the costume that much. I don't like any of the Batman Nolan costumes.
Well, to be fair, to be honest with you, I've never liked any. The only Batman costume I liked was Adam West because he had the blue and the gray,
yeah.
Which is the Batman I grew up with.
Yeah. Do you like Ben Affleck? Do you like the Affleck Batman? Are you a Dark Knight Returns fan? Because I like. Okay, Dark Knight Returns and the way Ben Affleck looks. It's just this is a personal thing. Yeah. I have the figure of that. When those toys, when the toys came out for the Dark Knight Returns, I have Robin, Superman, and Batman. Unfortunately, I couldn't get Joker. I don't know why. It was very hard to get. They've re-released them in other sets, but the original set where you can put them all together with the stands, I've got Superman, Robin, obviously, and Batman. And I don't know what it is about that Batman. And maybe it's when I read Dark Knight Returns. I don't know. I hate the rest of it. I don't like Dark Knight Strikes Back or whatever.
Or Strikes Back or whatever,
It's again, I think. And then Dark Knight 3 was okay. I don't like that otherwise. But for some reason, that one story I thought was really good. And the way that Affleck looks, the horns are a bit smaller. It's okay. Not the armored one at the end. Like just when he's normal Batman, like normal looking. Like, I don't know. There's something about that where I'm like, wow, this captures my imagination for Batman. And then I literally don't like any of the other looks. Batman's awesome.
Well, I mean, the problem, I like Affleck as Batman. I don't mind.
Was Batman Begins your favorite, you think, Steve?
Yeah.
Definitely. Obviously, 89 is the best because Adam West.
89 was the best, and I understand why they did it that way. I can accept it, but if anyone comes up to me and says, "What is your favorite Batman costume?" It's the blue and the gray. It's the superpowers. This is the Batman I grew up. That's how I looked in the comics. That's how I looked in the cartoons.
Yeah.
That was the Batman. When I saw him in 89 and he was black, I was like, what? Why is he? Did someone spray paint his costume?
Too. I thought that too.
So, I've grown to accept it, and they've done different versions. There's the Christian Bale armored look, which is like, okay, if you're going to realistically talk about how he would build a suit, that's probably closer to how it would happen. I don't necessarily want that, but I do like. It's just that I'm not sure if we're going to say that Affleck was the Dark Knight Returns character, right. If I now believe him doing what he does in the movies, would he get he got the female Robin, right? But that seemed to be almost like he didn't have a choice. He just
Carrie Kelly or whatever. She kind of just inserted herself or whatever in that role. But I don't think that's what's going on. I think they're just picking that as the aesthetics of this. I'm not talking about the storyline of Dark Knight Returns. Right. I'm not talking about the storyline of what Batman does in the Snyder universe. Right. I'm talking about just visually, but the visual of Batman himself.
But I feel I know what you're saying. But I feel like if you're going to put him in that suit, then that's the character I'm going to associate him with.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Right?
Well, he was kind of that. He was rougher.
He was kind of that, yeah. He was kind of that.
More, he had the tank and all that.
Yeah, he had the tank, which makes sense.
Yeah, and Battle Angel was saying he had the armor. The armor looked cool, but I just like regular Batman, the regular costume. The armor looked cool though. I don't have a toy of that, do I?
I honestly.
No, I don't.
Even when they cast Clooney, and Clooney was terrible as Batman. Let's
of course
not lie. When they cast George Clooney, I didn't know why they were going off Val Kilmer because I thought Val Kilmer was great as Batman and Batman Forever. But I'm like, okay. And then he was terrible. He's literally, though, the only actor I have seen do a crap job at Batman. Everyone else did a good to a great job,
Yeah.
right? He was the
Yeah,
only one
that's true.
like Clooney was the only one who I thought was garbage.
Yeah, it's just that movie was trying to be the Adam West show.
Yeah.
Like basically, okay, that movie was trying to be a homage to the Adam West show. Wonder Woman 84 was a homage to the Linda Carter show,
Right.
right? And in my opinion, Wonder Woman 84 succeeded in being a Silver Age Wonder Woman tribute, and Batman Robin failed to be the Adam West show because the Adam West show still had some charm to it.
Yeah.
This movie just has a lot of silliness where you're
Yeah.
just rolling your eyes. You're like, oh, that's bad. Oh, that's bad. Visually, just looking at it, it's a very striking movie. It's actually an artistic wonderland. Like, it's so busy
Over the top.
and over the top. And you're like, wow. Put it on your do you have it on 4K, Steve, or no?
Yeah.
Put it on the 4K TV and you're just like, holy shit, this is like crazy. It's like Flash Gordon. But Flash Gordon still had like, you know, some serious parts where you got into the character a little bit. Like, come on, he got them TV show. I know, eh? Fun fact, Bob Kane's favorite Batman is Val Kilmer. I did remember hearing about that. Val Kilmer, I think look, that Batman Forever, the serious parts
are crazy.
Cool, yeah. And then the silly parts are so silly. It's like, but the villains are silly.
Yeah.
And you've made it so where I literally never thought for 1 second that Riddler was a threat in any way. I'm like, I could beat up the Riddler. So why am I watching this then? That's the problem. Yeah. The stuff with Robin, his family dying, and you're like, oh my God, you know, his family's dead. And he gets mad when he gets mad and he's like, they're dead because of you, and he's hitting them. And he's like, you know, and then literally he's like, if Batman could have given his life for your family, he would have, you know, and he tried to. If you watch the movie again, he actually stands up. He's like, no, Harvey, no, don't, I'm Batman, don't, you know. And that was all so good. And then the next scene is like, show me how to punch a guy. It's real easy. Roll up your fist and punch. And it's like, what is happening in this stupid scene? And why is that guy standing there getting punched? Or like, oh, there's a cop or whatever. He's like punching. He's like, ow. And you're like, this is so dumb. Like, I was just so emotional in the last scene, and you throw this dumbassery in here.
It was just all over the place, and it was just a bad idea.
Top 3 Batsuits: BVS Batsuit, Batman 89, Batman Begins. I would say, for me, Ben Affleck, the normal one, not the armored thing, like normal Batman costume, whatever it was in Snyder Cut. And was it the same in the Snyder Cut? And
I think BVS? It was.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so
he only wears the armored thing to fight Superman. Otherwise, he's just normal Batman.
And then in the end of the Snyder Cut, though, he had a slightly more modified, which I don't care about either. I understand why he had. Well, no, I don't understand why he had it because he didn't do anything in that last scene. But anyway, I understand why he was gonna have it. So, but yeah, his regular suit BVS, I agree with that. Batman 89, I actually like Batman Returns slightly better. Because the bat symbol is a little bit better. It looks more regular. The one in 89 had that weird extra. It goes like curve. This. It had like an extra little curve, and then it pointed down.
You know too. I remember this from my childhood. Do you remember Global News? There was this guy who was on Global News, and he was like covering Batman at that time. Like, he reviewed Batman, and I forget what he said, but I remember said, I hate the Batman symbol because it looks like a bunch of like rotted teeth. And I'm like, what the hell is he talking about? Then I looked at it again, I'm like, oh, there it is, there's nubs and all that. I'm like,
oh my God, I'm gonna try to picture that now. Dick should have been I think they're just nervous.
Yeah.
So you guys have to understand, I don't know how old everyone is in the chat. When Batman Returns came out, I love Batman Returns. I actually had the toys from McDonald's. I think it was McDonald's toys. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Or Burger King perhaps, but I think it was McDonald's. And I had the Penguin shirts. And my mom used to work at like a very large, I don't know what, it would be like a Target or a Walmart, but like in 1990. So for us, Steve, that was Eaton Center. You would remember Eaton Center.
Yeah.
My mom used to work at Eaton Center. So in Canada, that was like a super mega huge, like a Walmart before Walmart. And so she would get all this cool stuff right when it would come out. That's how I got all the He-Man toys and G.I. Joe toys and Transformers. I would get them like off the shelves. Like, she knew the toy buyer. So she would get it from the toy buyer. So she would get me all these cool things. So I got like Batman Forever shirts right away. I got Catwoman, Penguin from Batman Returns right away. Like the movie comes out, I already had all the merchandise for it.
Mm-hmm.
And after they saw how creepy Penguin was, and he's like he's groping the girl and all that when he's putting the button on her and all that.
Yeah.
It's very weird, and he's saying, "Oh, there's that pussy that I was looking for," that's
Yeah.
a Catwoman. It's very weird. And parents groups were like, "What the hell is this?" And they're like, "Forget it." And then they're like, "We have," and so the DC or Warner was so scared. I think if they would have done a proper Dick Grayson, there would have been a friggin' shit show. They would have been like, "Oh, why are you having this little kid beat up people and stuff?" Because I remember now RoboCop 2, RoboCop 2, written by Frank Miller.
Yes.
It's a great movie.
And directed by Irvin Kershner, who directed Empire.
And Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
Another sequel that's great. Though RoboCop 2 is not better than RoboCop 1. However, RoboCop 2 has that little kid in it, and I remember the character name too. And he has like a machine gun, and he's like shooting people.
Yeah.
Oh my god. There was like outrage. Yeah. Like, what? This is garbage. This is poisoning the children and all this stuff. I watched RoboCop 2 like 100 times, and I'm like, Hobbs. The character's name is Hobbs, I think.
Yeah.
Before Hobbs and Shaw. And I was like, this is the greatest movie ever, and it's not poisoning my mind. I feel like, awesome. And there's the kid in Phantasm Part 3, Tim.
Yeah.
And he takes that throwing axe and whips at that girl's face, and it hits the girl in the face. You're like, what is happening? That was the age of like kids can kill people. Trauma did if children must die or something. I can't remember what it was. Something like that. And you're just like, okay, but no, there was so much outrage. I think if they would have done Dick Grayson the proper way, they would have just been like, oh, this is too bad. So they went with Chris O'Donnell. But Chris O'Donnell had the Nightwing costume.
He did.
In part 2, the red version. I thought, oh my god, it's Nightwing. Yeah. I thought they should have called him Nightwing, but they called him Robin. I'm like, it would have been cool if he was Nightwing. Chris O'Donnell's costume with the red was cool. Like, if it was blue, it would have been the Nightwing outfit.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't understand why Batman Forever and Batman and Robin came about. It was the outrage over Batman Returns. And from a studio perspective, Batman 1 was a cultural phenomenon. Like, it was the summer of Batman in 89. Batman Returns was a bit of a disappointment. And it was over, even I remember when the trailers came up, my mom took one look at it and she's like, that's not Penguin. What is this?
Yeah.
Right. And I remember my mom and dad actually arguing about Catwoman in that movie, because my mom's like, Catwoman never had a thrall over Batman, and my dad's like, did you never watch the Adam West show? Of course she did. She was like, but and they didn't read the comics, so they knew Batman from the Adam West show, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, like on better or worse, because Batman Returns definitely has its fans, right? Yeah. They decided that people didn't want this. It wasn't kid friendly. Let's do something kid friendly. And then it went too far because, again, as usual, Hollywood has no idea what the fans are actually saying. This has been consistent. This didn't start with the sequel trilogy for Star Wars or Zack Snyder and the DCEU. This has been happening for years, right? They don't understand. They're like Mortal Kombat Annihilation. They're like, oh, who should we put in this movie? And of course, the fans are like, oh, I want this guy and this guy and this guy and this guy. So they shoehorned everyone in there. Yeah. They didn't give anyone a storyline. Didn't do justice to like more than half the characters. So it's just like random fights would break out and then characters would die. And you're like, oh, I guess that was just, Jade, she just died. Okay. Apparently Jade doesn't matter. So what Hollywood has always been consistent with is they do not understand what the fans want. And they will probably be like that till the end of Hollywood.
And they will, because they're looking at bottom dollar money.
Yeah.
They don't give a crap. Look, okay. I mean, to say things perform well or underperform, Underperformance is a matter of what the studio calls underperformance, right? If the studio spent, I'm just going to use easy numbers. If the studio made a movie for $100 million and it makes all included, I'm talking everything, all marketing, all whatever, budget, actors, everything. It costs $100 million. If they make if they make $100 million and $1 more, that's a profit of $1. But obviously that's not enough to put all that time and trouble in. They need to make 2 or 3 times, right? They need to make 200 million, 300 million. This is why horror movies have always been super profitable. And something like, I'm going to use Friday 13th because that's the one I know. Friday 13th was Paramount. Paramount had Star Trek, Indiana Jones. What were the other big ones they had? Those are the 2 super big mega franchises. And they also had Friday the 13th. And a Friday the 13th movie would cost nothing to make, and it would make tons of money. But everyone hated it. They're like, this is awful. It's poisoning the teenagers' minds. Watch Siskel and Ebert review Friday the 13th, the final chapter, and they're like, it's a despicable, horrible, awful mess, and it's like, which tells our youth that they have nothing to look forward to than to just get slaughtered, and they really and Paramount's like, well, we don't know what to do because we don't like these Friday 13th movies. Yeah. We don't want to be known for them, but they're making us tons of money. They're more profitable than Star Trek because the Star Trek movie costs a lot more. The first Saw film, I love all the Saw movies, especially the first 6 for sure. There's like 8 or 9 of them. My God. The first one cost $1 million and it made $8 million on Friday, Friday it came out.
Yeah.
That's 8 times. And they're like, well, this is a mega hit. I think it made like 40 million or something. And you're like, well, that's 40 times more than what we spent on it.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, let's just keep making another one of those. And every time they make one, it makes more and more and more. When you get to something where you're getting into like a Justice League, it needs to make so much more. It needs to make more than just hashtags. It needs, so like, I didn't like Snyder Cut, but I'm still buying it on 4K. I still support anything that's superhero related. And I'm like, Tuesday morning, I'm at Walmart buying friggin' Wonder Woman big time. Yeah. I'm watching it immediately. Anyways, I'm buying it because if you're not going to support these things with money, like if Justice League came out in theaters, we're there first opening night.
Yeah.
For no brainer. Whether I want to or like we're there. Because you have to support these things financially so that they can go somewhere. A lot of the times there's a lot of people who are saying, oh, I love this thing, but they're not giving them money. They need to see the support online. They need to see the support monetarily, right? Like how many people pirated it? I'm not saying this is a thing, but just think, a lot of people are saying, restore the Snyderverse. I would ask that person, did you subscribe to HBO Max? Are you going to buy this on 4K or are you just pirating it and then saying, oh, I want this? Because this is what happened with Judge Dredd. We saw Dredd in the theater, the Carl Urban Dredd, and this pissed me off because there was nobody in the theater.
Yeah.
And I walked out of that movie and I thought, this is one of the best action films I've seen in a long time. This is an amazing comic book movie, great characters, right? Judge Dredd, Carl Urban is a fantastic actor. He was amazing. Never took the helmet off, didn't have any vanity like Stallone, who had to have the helmet off. And nobody saw it. Then I saw, bring back, Dredd 2. Where were you? Like, I bought
it didn't make the money. Yeah.
It didn't make the money. So you got to go to the theater to support this crap. And the thing is, it's like, I bought it on Blu-ray immediately, right? And it's like, no one else, you got to, and I'm going to buy Snyder. I'm buying Snyder Cut Justice League for sure, because I'm supporting the idea to make more of these universes and more. If people want Snyderverse, then bring it for them. But the money has to be there. And if Warner Brothers doesn't think the money's there, they're not going to do it. So you got to support it. I'm behind on comments. What do we got? Tim Burton, Batman 3 happened because actually Batman Returns. Exactly. Yeah. That's the 100%. WB style.
Yeah.
I know Billy Diaz Two-Face. They're doing it in the comic books.
We would have loved to see that.
That was supposed to happen.
That's who I wanted to be Riddler. Yeah.
That's perfect casting. because
Yeah.
Robin Williams is very sinister if he
Yeah.
needs to be.
Death to
And
Smoochie.
Death to Smoochie. And what about the big one, 1 Hour Photo?
1 Hour Photo. Underrated movie.
Underrated movie. Dude,
Yeah.
he is so great. I'm
Yeah.
got goosebumps,
But,
chills from 1 Hour Photo. I was like, oh, this is so good. Like,
when I watched it, I was like, oh my God, this is so creepy. Like, but to your point, it's easy to be a fan for free. I can be a fan
of
of anything
course,
for free.
of
And
course.
what people have to realize is if you want to be a fan of this and you want it to continue, you sort of have to become uncomfortable, but it's going to be unfair to you. Because if you look at it, okay, we're going to go to the theater. We're going to pay money to go to the theater.
Yeah.
If you're going to go to the theater, more than likely, you're going to buy snacks.
Right.
So you're not only supporting the movie, you're supporting the theater to remain open so you can see future movies.
Correct. Yeah.
So you're buying snacks you probably don't want and that you think are outrageously priced in order to support the viewing experience you're about to partake in.
Yeah.
Okay. Then you're going to buy it in physical media. First of all, physical media is dead or dying. But it's always dying. If you're a Canadian, Quebec is always separating from the rest of Canada. Like it's separated. It started separating prior to my birth, and last time I heard they were separating was like 2 weeks ago. Like they're always separating.
They're always separating. Huh?
So physical media might not be as big. I don't think it's going to completely die. It's going to be more of a boutique thing.
Right.
But you're going to have to support it there too. Unfortunately, you're going to have to give more money than you probably want to these guys to keep what you like alive. Because if you don't, they won't do it again. Because there's like 5,000 licenses and properties, we got Gem and the Holograms. Who would have thought that would have happened? Well, someone said, hey, we have the rights to this thing. Let's make this movie. And it was terrible from what I heard. Yeah. But like, this is what you have to do. I'm sorry. And you and I have been down this road so many times. I think they named a part of the road after us, where we paid for that. We bought the VHS, then we bought the DVD, then we bought the Blu-ray, then we bought the 4K. The figures, the shirts, the hats, the statues. Like, unfortunately, this is what you got to do. You don't. I'm not telling you have to do it, but then you can't be surprised when the studio says we're not making these anymore.
Yeah, like somebody, that's the thing. And the Dread was a great example because I lived with that. Yeah. And everyone's like, oh, I love Dread. I'm like, did you buy it? No. Did you see it in the theater? No. Did you rent it? No. It's like, well, how did you see it? Well, I torrented it. It's like, okay, so you've done nothing. It's like
you put no money towards it.
You put more money, and why would they make another one if you're not going to pay for it? Just like a reminder, guys, blast the like button. Do you like my buddy Cyclops and help me out here? Let's go to the comments. What do we got here? Robin Williams is the Joker. I'm just so sold on him as Riddler that went into my brain, and then I just couldn't get it out of my brain.
Oh, it was a no-brainer. Sorry about fun, but it was a no-brainer. Like, Robin Williams was a uniquely talented performer. Like, I remember him from Mork and Mindy coming in the egg-shaped ship, right? It was one of the few TV shows I watched as a kid.
I had the toy of that.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, nice.
I thought he was terrific. If you follow his career, such a diverse group of characters. When he passed away, it was a loss. Mm-hmm. You don't find people that talented. If you watched Aladdin, I remember the first time I watched Aladdin, I was literally like, I'm like, what is the genie going to do next? Like, he always kept you guessing. He was that talented. You never knew what he was going to do. If you ever saw any of his stand-up shows, that guy was jumping around the stage for like he was sweaty by the time. He was like soaked because of all the energy he put into his performances. So
yeah, he was awesome.
Yeah, he was awesome.
Did you see Superman and Lois this week?
I did.
So what are your thoughts on Superman?
I mean, that was probably one of the more interesting shows about an affair I've ever seen. I'm not usually I was actually a movie extra, I was in a fair, and let me tell you, it's boring as hell to be in a scene with a fair. You're just walking down, the main strip all the time, or you're standing outside like an idiot in the blazing sun looking at a pie eating contest that hasn't started.
Right.
Which is what happened to me. But yeah, it was really good. I don't know. I'm really into Superman and Lois a lot. I think it's terrific. I mean, I was sort of waiting for the Jonathan acts out thing because they kept hinting at it because it was all focused on the other kid. And I was like, obviously Jonathan's because I knew the girlfriend was going to break up with him. Right. Like that was telegraphed. And I actually thought they'll move back to Metropolis in season 2. I thought they would only be in Smallville for season 1. The only reason they went to Smallville is because Supergirl is shooting in Vancouver, which is an actual city, which is also Metropolis. So it'd be kind of like, well, are they moving to National City or like whatever?
Right. Why is there 2 or whatever?
Yeah, exactly. So really liked it. I love the whole Alexander Luthor was married to Lois Lane and he was all destroyed over that. Yeah.
That was great. Alexander Luthor is a good character. He's very interesting, and it didn't take very long for him to get interesting. He was like interesting, like basically as soon as they said Luthor and they removed the helmet, I was like, oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Storyboards of '89, Brad Keaton and Robin, both Mark Hamill and Kevin Conroy. Yeah, I mean, yeah. You know what's funny? I'm gonna throw this up. The guy, I don't know if anyone knows this, but the in Supergirl, the actor who plays the father of Martian Manhunter, he's the voice of Martian Manhunter in the Justice League cartoon, and I never realized that till this week when I saw him appear on Falcon.
Yes,
and he's great. Now, there is so much going on in Falcon and Winter Soldier that I literally couldn't keep straight I'm like, oh my God, they're introducing so many characters. I literally, so I don't know if you guys hadn't seen this earlier. I had to break out the Captain America comics. And I found that I have a lot of the appearances of guys. Like, so for example, where is it? This is from when my childhood ones. All right, so let me see if I can find. Oh, this is a great issue.
Yep.
300. But hold on, I'm gonna find the one I'm talking about. Oh,
did you notice that the female Flag Smasher was the same actress who portrayed Inverness in Solo?
I noticed. Yeah, she's very unique.
Yeah, she got
I like that actress. She was cool. So here we go. This, I believe, is the first appearance of Battlestar and U.S. Agent.
Oh, that's awesome.
So check. Okay, so you know how much I paid for this? $2.49. And I'm like, I wonder what it's going for on eBay now. I didn't even know I had this. So I'm watching Falcon and Winter Soldier, and I'm like, well, this is just the best.
Yeah.
The banter between Bucky and Falcon is gold.
Yeah.
I love Falcon. Then they had U.S. Agent, and I like U.S. Agent. I like how they've made him a character. He's like, look, I paid my dues. I'm a good guy, and he seems like he's a good guy. And then his partner, I'm like, who is that? I know this character. So I'm like, let me check. I'm like, oh shit. And they said the name Battlestar before I had a chance to look it up. And then I'm like, yes, Battlestar. And not only that, okay, so Battlestar is on the cover of a lot of these, is on the cover of some of these as well. And there's another, hold on, I gotta see if I can. Oh, here is John Walker.
Yep.
Like before U.S. Agent, he was called Super Patriot. But hold on, I've got other. It comes out. There must be later on. It's hard to go through all these. Check this shit out. Captain America versus Magneto. But no, that's not right. Yeah. There's Battlestar in the corner.
Oh, that's wicked.
This is from childhood, and that's him in the corner there.
That's crazy.
So that's U.S. Agent's like partner, the black guy.
What I love about, like, especially Marvel, even now, I don't see this much with DC as I saw in Marvel, is how many crossovers, how many characters just will wander into an issue. Like I was saying, I've read the latest Hulk. I'm in the Gray Hulks now, Thurman, Wisconsin, the Gray Hulks. And yeah, X Factor's there. And it's the Cyclops, Jean Grey, Iceman X Factor.
Yeah, I read those.
And I'm like, okay.
Yeah,
they just wander. And even I've read the new Black Cat series.
Oh yeah.
Black Cat meets Pat, like she's going to rob someone, and it's Patch. It's Wolverine.
Oh my god.
And what is actually he wants to, like, he gets robbed. I forget, he's fighting someone, some other evil mutant. I don't know the character, and he wants this thing back, and I'm going to let you know he got it. And it was just documents about his wife. And he's like, these are for me to remember who I was, because I don't remember. And I'm like, this is awesome. But Black Cat helps Wolverine steal his stuff back. It's awesome.
That is awesome.
But
we got Edgar in the stream. I'm going to bring him in just a second.
Yeah.
I posted a link if anyone else wants to come in. Sean is running a little late, so he'll come in kind of when he can. Oh, I was supposed to give a shout out to my niece and nephew. That was like an hour ago. I've been getting texts and stuff, and I'm trying to like keep track of everything that's going on. All right, so yeah, Sean is just gonna get here when he gets here, kind of a thing. It is what it is. Yeah. All right, let's bring Edgar in for a sec. Hey, dude, how's it going, guy?
It's going, man. It's going.
Good. All right, cool.
I understand how you feel on everything, on how you feel about how you guys feel about the television and movies. I mean, I agree with your statement on how sometimes the fan is somewhat of your worst enemy. I mean, like, I just feel like granted, I could complain about the recent news on how Predator 5, the recent one that's coming soon, I believe maybe next year or 2023. But what's that word? I'm trying to say is I want everything to get a chance, but I feel like with things really end on a point where, okay, some things need to be bigger push, but when you have people who try to support something like Alita Battle Angel, for example, big fan of that series since high school days, if you ask me, and this is like 2010 2011 ish, and I've been a fan of that series for a long time, and I really wanted that movie to be successful, but ever since the Disney merger happened, it kind of ruined that whole opportunity. And it just, people say, oh, it's great. Will we ever get a sequel? I'm like, I don't think we are. And if we do, it's just, let's say we do, what happens? It's going to be like Pacific Rim. People wanted a Pacific Rim to get a sequel, and look what happened. And no one blamed themselves. No one blamed themselves because you asked for it. What happened? It was a pile of dog shit.
I still bought it.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, like, granted, I didn't mind the film. It was just your typical robot action monster movie. But it's like, I'm talking about the minority audience, and it's just, I really feel like sometimes it's your biggest enemy, not the company themselves.
Yeah, so Battle Angel, so I actually have the entire, not Last Stand or whatever, which is the second series, but the entire first series. I have the full manga, all volumes of it.
I really, I'll tell you this: Last Order and Mars Chronicles are really great.
Yeah, and they're good. Yeah,
they're really good. They're really granted. They take some different directions, but they it's a continuation from the last series, and they referenced a lot of the things, and they did some crazy stuff that I really wish that we personally, for me, this is one thing I also want is an animated series. I've been a big statement on the Alita Army, as everyone calls it. It's like I would rather have an animated series than a sequel, because an animated series, you could do the entire series in 5 seasons, and you could do the other series in 5 or whatever, and it would have been a lot more better. People would get into it, and you wouldn't have that restricted area. You wouldn't have that restricted like, oh, I can't do this because of X, Y, and Z. And it's just
you're right. Like, the studios need to pick their battles and pick, no pun intended.
Because I mean, sometimes
pick where you want to go. Like, do you want to have a faithful representation and capture all the fans of that franchise, and do an anime and have Battle Angel depicted in the proper manner, like a Death Note or something? Or do you want to try to do something and reach this other audience that may not really want your thing, or maybe not care about it? And that's where you got these problems, because I don't know how much I'm gonna call it Battle Angel Alita Battle Angel, the movie. I really liked it.
It was covering the first 4 volumes.
Yeah. It covered it pretty good. It added a few things.
It did change some bits of it. They did. Okay. People have their complaints where, oh, it should have been rated. I'm like, I'm sorry to say this, like, comes like sci-fi movies. You're like, yeah, it sometimes can be successful, but if you have a big blockbuster film that really needs that big budget, it ain't gonna do that well if you put it as a horror rated R film. Now, granted, if that was the 90s, that would have been a whole different story, but you get what I mean.
Yeah. Are you in the States, Edgar?
I'm in California right now.
You're in California. So in Canada, our rating system's a little bit different. Yeah, and what you can see and what you can't. So for us here, we have a number first, and that's the age. So for example, like a rated R movie to us would mean like you have to for sure be over 18, or you can't get in no matter what the situation is. But then there's like something where we call it 18A, and 18A would mean 18 or with an adult. So, and we're lighter. So American Psycho, I don't know if you're a horror movie guy, but American Psycho, there was a sex scene that was omitted in to the American audiences in theaters. And in Canada, we had the full sex scene, and it was still like, I think it was 18A or something. Like, we're a little bit looser. We're actually, this is the one of the better things, I suppose. Because like,
I grew up with rated R films: Terminator, Predator, Alien. Those are my favorite franchises besides Star Wars. And I really feel like, with Alita, and this is just my personal opinion, and this kind of goes with a little bit of the Snyder Cut and this whole thing. I feel like the internet is a little bit like, we all want Justice League 2 and 3. Mm-hmm. We all want Alita Battle Angel 2. We all want Alita animated series. Shit, hold on, give me a minute. Yeah. Family stuff, sorry about that.
Well, it's the same with like Firefly. So Firefly was canceled.
Yep.
Everyone's like, we want Firefly to continue. So they decided to make Serenity.
Yes.
Which I saw in the theater. And I saw it in the theater not even having seen Firefly. So I saw the movie before the series, which is ridiculous. But anyhow, that's what I did. I bought the poster and all that. I loved all that stuff. But we didn't get anything more. And it's because no one supported the movie.
Right. They're not going to go. They want to just sit at home and watch it.
Yeah.
You got to go pay your money.
Yeah.
What's
saw
I
people
don't
review.
what's GSVK? I don't know what that is.
I feel like that's a site or something. I have no idea.
Andrew, let me know what that is. Type it out. I don't know what GSV. I don't know anything about Twitter or Instagram. If you follow me on one of those things, I literally just post a thing saying I'm going live. Oh, Godzilla versus Kong. Okay, good. Okay, I see. Restore
Okay.
the. Okay, I see. Godzilla versus Kong.
So
Yeah.
question. So can you pull up Andrew's original comment
Oh,
about what?
sorry. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Review bombing saying, "Oh, restore some."
All right, I'm back now. Fuck me now. But yeah, I mean, I just feel like with the whole today's audience is sometimes your biggest enemy, and when you want something, it's usually the studio's going to ignore it. People want a Dread film. People want this. People want that, and it's just like, God damn it, shut up.
I think his dog has a different opinion than him.
His dog is barking. Restore the Snyder.
But to get back to what Andrew was saying, this is the sort of thing that, like, we get. There's a restore to the Snyder universe, but review bombing Godzilla versus Kong is not going to get you a restore to Snyderverse, right? Like, that's not happening. How you get to Snyderverse is when Justice League Snyder Cut comes to 4K or physical media, you buy it. If you have to download, I don't think, does iTunes still do the digital?
You can buy it.
Oh, yeah. iTunes, everything. And that's the thing.
Yeah,
I feel like the Incredible Hulk film. Everyone wants another Hulk movie, but we ain't going to get that.
No,
I mean, personally, for me, I think we'll get a Justice League movie. It's just going to be different.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I think Zack Snyder, too, is moving on. He's done Army of the Dead, which is, when is that coming out on Netflix? Like the end of this next month?
Yeah, trailer is out, so it's coming, right? So Zack Snyder has to do his stuff that he wants to do in his life too, right?
Yeah. Like, he's not going to put his whole career doing like DCEU movies. Like, as much as some people would want it, it's not going to happen. And quite frankly, I want him to go back to doing his own movies like Sucker Punch. Like, I am more interested in Army of the Dead than a lot of his movies because it looks like it's new. Right?
Yeah, I think auteur directors like Zack Snyder need to kind of have their visions.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, it's called Zack Snyder's Justice League because, it is his. Unfortunately, it's not mine. And I think, unfortunately, it might not be other people's as well, because I get the people at my work are very average, regular schmoes who don't know anything, right? Like, they're very casual viewers, and they're like, "Oh yeah, that was good. Like, it was kind of long, and Superman wasn't in it. Why was he in the black costume?" And they're just like, "Yeah, it didn't seem very fun to me." You know what I mean? And you're like, well, you could say, well, you're a dumbass and all that. Yeah, but these are the generic, regular people who are going to pay to get the movie because they don't know how to download. They don't know how to torrent. None of them there know anything. One guy's like, "Oh, how do you get movies?" I'm like, "Well, you can just buy them or go on the internet." He's like, "Oh, because he buys them. Like, he literally rents them through my mom rents movies, like, through her cable subscription, and she'll be like, "Oh, I rented this." I'm like, "Oh my God." It's like, I could get it for you if you really want it. But she's like, "No, I don't care." So these are the regular schmoes. And they're just like, "What is this? This doesn't look like what I want." Now, so in order to counterbalance that, the fans really need to dish out a lot of money.
They need to put their money where their mouth is and do that. Like, another great example is Bryan Singer. Bryan Singer did the X-Men movies to varying success. But in my opinion, not as good as some of the other directors who made X-Men or mutant movies. I even think that New Mutants was a bit of a different take, which if they'd been allowed to go forward with that. See, that's an example where the fans didn't get a chance to support the movie because the studio had so little faith in the movie.
Yeah.
that they didn't even they just released it to make some money back, and they're like, we're done with this. If you actually watch the New Mutants, this guy should have been allowed to complete it because he was going in an interesting direction. It's more like a horror-ish thing.
And again, it's like, this is one of these things. Now, New Mutants is one where it's like, if you're a fan of New Mutants, you might think, well, this is kind of weird. You know, and if you're a regular person, maybe you think this is kind of neat. I don't know, but you have to be able to be more in touch with what the audience is wanting. Hey, Sean, how's it going?
What's up?
As Monster turning overseas debut, such records.
So
cool.
I will tell you right now that the pandemic, I felt it with Wonder Woman 84, seeing it on. I don't have a small. You see my screen. It's like 55-inch, and I think yours is even bigger, right?
Mine's 65.
Yeah.
Mine's bigger than yours.
So like, I felt it a little bit there, but looking at Kong versus Godzilla's trailers, damn, this would have been great to see in the theaters. I'm really feeling this.
Not open here. Yeah, they're not open here, man.
There's drive-ins open. I see, but
I'm not going to that.
I know.
I'm not going to that. That's bullshit.
Yeah.
So Sean, Falcon Winter Soldier, did you see me pull out my books?
No, I didn't see anything up to this point. So
okay, so I
what are those cap books or
all cap?
Okay.
The good thing about this show is that it forces me to go back and pull all these out. And so I showed this earlier. Now I can't find it, of course. I probably put it in the wrong spot. Oof. I'll find it. But yeah, what did you think of Falcon while I'm finding this stuff?
It was cool. It's funny because I feel like it's a Captain America show without Captain America. It's got all sorts of great tropes. Of Cap, but it's like there's no Cap, right? But like all his villains are there and stuff. They have like 3 villains in play so far. So and they have parts of the lore and everything. That's cool.
First U.S. agent, first Battlestar.
I do have a question for both of you, and I thought of this question when I was watching the episode. The way they talk about Captain America, and I'm just trying, this is only for me to make sure I didn't miss something that should be obvious that's being implied. Steve Rogers in the MCU is still alive. He's just a senior citizen, right?
I know.
I'm like, the man isn't dead.
He's not
like
dead.
You saw him. He's just an old dude. Yeah.
Like, just ask him.
Yeah.
It's like, Steve, did you really mean Falcon? Yes.
But I don't know if the government knows that he's still around or like the nature of that. It's like, do they think that he died during the battle? I don't know what they think. Because the thing is, you're watching this is like, I don't know. It's the same. I think everyone watching it would be like, did they forget this? Because it doesn't seem like them to forget this, that like he's still around. Like he was on that park bench because he's around in that time. He's just an older guy who's not Cap anymore. But wouldn't they have known that enough to ask, like, do you want this other dude who, like all these tours of duty and stuff, but he's not like a superhero. He's not fighting like, monsters and aliens and stuff like Falcon is. So yeah. I thought all that stuff was cool. It gets me really interested in all that Cap stuff again. Like, I love when the one guy said he was Battlestar, because I knew he was Battlestar, but I was like, oh, he said it. So now, like, all the awkwardness is gone. You just call him Battlestar whenever he gets the costume,
And he's wicked, and he has it. So I like John Walker. I like how they made him like a good guy. He's like, look, I served my time. I'm helping people
for now.
out.
You want to like him, but like, but then towards the end, he's like, get out of my way and all that stuff, right?
Well, because they're not working with him. Look, I'm with Falcon, right? Anything Falcon does, I'm with him.
Yeah,
for sure. He's my number one. But dude, Isaiah or whatever.
Yeah,
I was like, oh my god, I got to look that up, and it's like, yeah, I stopped reading Captain America by this point. So this is my entire Captain America collection. It's around 300 to 350, and then after that it gets pretty sporadic. But actually, and I found this too. There's your Battlestar right there.
Yeah, he looks cool. They're not going to do that. But...
They're not going to do that. No, I know.
Yeah.
But this is a childhood one.
Mm-hmm.
This is a childhood of mine.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's pretty cool to have him in there. And like, and so I'm like, wow, this is really cool. But I had to start pulling out, and you warned me before I watched it. You're like, get your phone out because you're going to need to start Googling all these guys.
Yeah.
And so in the 2000s, they had Isaiah Bradley. Was that the name?
Yeah, I remember that whole storyline because it was super tragic. Now it's funny because in the comic he's jailed for like 17 years. Here it's like they upped the ante to like 30 years. But yeah, it's cool that they have him there. Now they didn't have him for a throwaway thing, I don't think. So
he'll be back. That guy's the voice of Martian Manhunter in the Justice League cartoon, and he's Martian Manhunter's. He's Martian Manhunter's father in Supergirl.
Oh yeah,
that actor. Yeah, thoughts on Captain America, John Walker? Yeah, I mean, I like him. He's a cool character. Let's see what happens with him. When he came in for the save, that was sick. That whole scene was awesome.
That whole sequence was a Marvel geek out for me.
I know,
because they're in their costumes and stuff. It's like Winter Soldier looks like Winter Soldier. Falcon looks like I mean, it's the movie Falcon, but like he looks like Falcon. And USA, they'll call him US Agent, but like he's got the US Agent. So when all three of them are fighting on top of that truck, I was like, this is Marvel. This is it, man.
Yeah, it's US Agent.
Yeah,
with Battlestar.
So it's like with the iconic costume.
Yeah, and then you got Falcon and Winter Soldier. It's like everyone is teaming up fighting.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh my god. That's awesome. It was that whole anything with the way they're doing Falcon is so cool, and it's the way his wings operate.
Yeah.
Like how he swoops through. Like when the second he swooped through that little window, like there's that big the doors open and they're stealing that stuff, and then Winter Soldier like runs and Falcon jumps and like the wings come out and he flies through the opening. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
And it's like they get there and it's like it was like a big battle. I'm like, this is awesome, man. I thought it was so cool.
My favorite of her in the action scene was the therapy scene when they're sitting there and she's like,
oh my god.
No, closer. Like he's like, is this close enough for you? It's like they're like looking to each other's eyes. It's like, are you guys having a staring contest? I was dying. Like I'm like, this is awesome.
Their interactions are good. Like they have good chemistry. You didn't really get that as much in the movies. Like I know they don't like each other and stuff, but like here it's like I like Winter Soldier's reaction. He's like, to Walker getting the thing, right? And he's like, oh, he's angry. It's like he's angry for Falcon. But yeah.
That was funny. The big three. That was super funny. It's it's like wizards, aliens, robots.
Yeah.
And then
a sorcerer is a wizard without the hat.
Yeah.
He's like, I just thought of that. Yeah.
Because you like it else also. I just made that up.
I just thought.
But then US Agent says it too, right? And then he's like, see, it's a thing. He's like, no, it's not a thing. It's like, well, he just said it. It's like no.
What else would there be?
I don't know. I got to go through the big Marvel handbook.
Aliens, wizards, and was it monsters?
Robots.
So yeah, monsters would be another one.
Well, that would be an alien, though. I think.
I guess, yeah.
Or it could be a magical thing or whatever.
Yeah. So, question: Flag Smashers, are they in cahoots with Zemo?
Probably.
Yeah.
They took there was a Flag Smasher character, and they took that and made it a female villain.
Yeah.
And so and who has an organization? That's cool. It's not the thing is it's not like this like Flag Smasher is a mega iconic character, right?
Yeah, I'm okay with that. Yeah, and that's the actress who played Enfys Nest.
Yeah. She looked familiar. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
She had the coolest. I bought her.
One of the
vehicles I bought from.
It's so funny. No one has any faith in that character because that toy can be bought for like $17 now. It's like
seriously.
It's gonna go mega up in price.
I thought she looked. It was Androids, Aliens, Wizards. Is that what it was? Okay. Yes, that's correct. Yeah, Androids, Aliens, Wizards. The big three. That was the best. But yeah, I bought the figure of Enfys Nest with her thingy. I love speeder bikes. They're pretty badass.
Yeah.
And she looked cool, her helmet and all that. I wasn't disappointed when she took it off and she was like some kid or whatever. Like, that actress has a very unique look, and she looks kind of cool.
Yeah.
You know what I like about I like? Okay, someone's got to explain to me the Flag Smashers. What is exactly that they're saying? So they're saying before, like during the 5 years of the blip or whatever, right? Is that what it's called? Like, yeah.
They're basically saying, "Oh fuck, I'll be right."
All right.
No, they're saying that life before before everyone blips back was the best, and they're trying to get back to that life. So they're going to kill half the population of the planet. Like, I don't know. I don't understand.
How would they do that?
Yeah.
I don't understand what's happening with that. So, okay, that is what I was thinking.
So they agree with Thanos.
Right.
Yeah, they're like, yeah.
Okay, I'm back down saying like what I pretty much understood what they were trying to do is they wanted to pretty much have it where it's before the internet or something, but before the blip of that whole thing, and pretty much they want to go forward with that whole thing, and it's like they say, it's Robin Hood over the poor, and that's what they do, and you know, that's something that I kind of figure out. Granted, that main girl, everyone said that may be Songbird, because she's kind of like the leader of that pack, and I'm like, I wouldn't be surprised. But yet again, how would she be Songbird if she doesn't have mutant powers? Because she is a mutant.
Yeah, I don't. I'm trying to see if I can find anything on that.
Yeah, didn't they imply that they were all like they had the super soldier serum? Like that's how they got
something like that. Yeah. And they did have somewhat of a super soldier esque to them, and you know, I will have to say the way how they were fighting Winter Soldier himself, Bucky. I like the fact that Bucky kind of like he has to take his arms to kind of like get his hands dirty to investigate this stuff, because it's technically this is his world, so he knows better than everyone else, and I really like that a lot. That's really good direction on where Marvel is going with that. And but speaking about something, I love how U.S. Agent is absolutely a dick, an absolute asshole, and I'm like, and how Bucky is like, what is this guy? You gave up the shield for this guy? It was just completely hilarious, and it just.
So I'm looking up Songbird. Yeah, so there's a few theories where people are like posting pictures or be in it.
Flag Smasher was Carl Morgenthau, and this woman, her name is Carly Morgenthau. So I thought they just gender swapped Flag Smasher and made her leader of the Flag Smashers, right?
Or they could just merge the two characters together. I mean, Marvel has done that. I mean, like, I'm not against that idea, but I mean, because if it can't work in your universe, you might as well take some.
For all two Songbird fans out there, right?
first appearance of Flag Smasher, I have that one too. See,
there you go.
What I love about this is that I don't even know I have these. Like, I'm literally like looking at the characters
because they just dip right in, and it's like all the people that had Marvel Premiere, whatever it was, that was the first appearance of Rocket Raccoon, and then the week after Guardians of the Galaxy came out, it was like $60. And it was like $5 before.
and the thing is that all of these Captain Americas, it's like I literally like I had them either from childhood or I was filling in gaps at this comic shop that was close to me. So I would feel I like that I paid cover price for that first appearance. It was nothing back when I got this is like 20-something years ago, like me trying to fill these gaps in. So I've got the first Flag Smasher, I got the first US Agent, I got the first Battlestar, and this was just literally in my storage unit. I was like, I gotta go get my Captain America comics out of storage.
I mean, dude, same here. Like, kind of reminds me of my dad's comic books when he was collecting comic books, and I still own some of them. And when you look at Vision's first appearance, it's like $100 or more dollars on eBay, and it's like Jesus. And then speaking about Ultron, it's the same thing. I'm like, damn, crap. It's just their first appearance. And granted, when you look at Thanos, it used to be like $50 for like years ago, like 2002 2000 to 2010 or 2012. You get what I'm saying? It was just, it was not like super expensive as it is now, because ever since the movies, it just jumped price the whole thing. But I mean, yeah, it was cool. But I mean, I'm happy that U.S. Agent really got done justice, because I was like thinking how they're going to introduce him and not make him be this, let's just say, this guy who really doesn't deserve being Captain America. You get what I'm saying? Like that unapproval fan. Oh yeah, unapproval, but have where he eventually becomes his own character, because in the books he eventually I'm thinking that he was this. Start over. I think he had a similar situation that we're having in the MCU, where because there was a storyline to where oh god damn it, I'll be right back. Sorry, man.
Hey, what's going on, Andrew?
That's the story in the comics, though, right? No one likes him because he's not the real Captain America, and then
he becomes the leader of West Coast Avengers because they forced. This is right after Vision Quest, so Vision is back, and then he comes in to sort of say, okay, I'm gonna like get you guys into shape here because there's been a lot of bullshit. And then Hawkeye's like, I'm done with this guy, and Hawkeye quits, and then that new weird Avengers team gets in there. It's like I forgot what they're called. It's like they're like the weirdest characters. It's like some really large.
Well, Great Lakes Avengers.
Great Lakes Avengers.
Yeah.
and I mean, I'm a closet fan of Great Lakes Avengers.
They're so stupid. Yeah,
I know, but the one guy doesn't die, and he absorbed all that energy. That was cool. I don't know.
Yeah. It's funny because Hawkeye hated Captain America in the early Avengers comics. Right. He kept calling him Methuselah and all that stuff, and then and he wises up to him later on, and then I guess he hates U.S. Agent, and then
and he'll, yeah. So Andrew, did you like Falcon and Winter Soldier?
Yes, I did.
I mean, I thought it was really neat. Like the fighting was good. The action scenes in this are really good, and maybe they saved all the WandaVision budget for this.
What was good too was that U.S. Agent wasn't incapable, right? Like when he was on the trucks, he was pretty formidable himself, right? Like he wasn't just taken out in one shot.
Right.
Like they didn't make it stupid where he's just like, you know, my thought was, without really knowing the U.S. Agent character that well, was he was going to be more ceremonial as Captain America. But when he fought, he would have a group of guys who did most of the fighting, and he would sort of take the credit. That's what I thought they would do.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
So when he was on the truck fighting, I'm like, oh, this guy's the real deal. He's not just like a schmuck with like a great team and like weapons and stuff, and he can just do stuff.
Yeah, they made him they made him kind of like an ass a bit, but like he's there to do a job too. And I always like this kind of idea that like, look, this guy's here. He's like, look, I'm here to do a job. Are you on my team or not? Because I'm Captain America. Like it or not, that's what's happening. So you're either with me on this mission or you're not. And they're like, well, we're not. Okay, we'll see ya. You know? And he's a dick because we know that Falcon and Winter Soldier are awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's, you know what I mean? Like it'd be like, it's like if we're all working in an office and this new manager comes in, we're like, well, who's this guy?
Yeah.
Well, it's sort of like the remnants of Civil War, right? Because U.S. Agent represents the government response, the military response. And if you remember, neither Falcon nor Winter Soldier were on Team Iron Man during that conflict. So they're not going to go along with that sort of character. Right. And the great thing, too, is that U.S. Agent isn't saying, well, you guys suck, and I'm going to take you. He's just like, listen, you're either with me. If you don't want to be with me, that's cool. Like, we'd love to have you, but if you don't want to be here, that's cool. But don't get in my way.
Like, exactly. I thought something was off about him.
Yeah, you know, I think it's just that he's a character who they sort of implied he was passed over. Like, he's done all these great things, but no one knows who he is. And he sort of should get, because I think he says at one point, or it's implied that, well, you know, I was just as good as Steve Rogers, right? And I didn't have the super soldier serum. Like they seem to imply that or something, or there was like that television show he was on, that special.
Yeah, he didn't get a super serum, right? So
right.
Yeah. So, and Battlestar doesn't have it either.
No.
I suppose. But Isaiah, what's Isaiah's character? Oh no, did Isaiah have a character name or no? Is he just Captain America?
He was Captain America.
Yeah, he's just Captain America, right?
For like a day, and then But the thing is, these Flag Smasher guys do have powers, and it seems to be something like a pill or something that they take.
Yeah.
So that could factor into things too, right? But I like the whole like the underpinning undercurrent theme of someone getting a position that you don't think deserves it, but they do deserve it in some sort of way. But then again, you can make an argument that they don't. It's very clever.
Yes.
And listen, point to anyone who hasn't been in that situation. You know, it's like, or even knows of someone who's been in that situation. Like we all work for, people, and you're not gonna, corporations and stuff. And this resonates. It resonates with me. So yeah,
resonates with me.
Yeah.
Another cool scene. Another cool scene was when they were in Baltimore, just after they talked to Isaiah, and they're outside and they're talking heatedly, and then the police show up.
Yeah, that was.
And you're like, oh God, right? You're just like, oh God. Yeah. And it starts to go in that direction. You're like, oh God. But then they arrest the Winter Soldier.
They arrest the white guy. Yeah.
And what's funny is that they, which is actually very funny, and that was very clever because when I saw that scene, my heart sank. I thought, oh, please God, don't be this stupid. And then the guy's like, no, that's Falcon. He's like, oh shit, yeah. Okay, so they spun it in like a funny way or whatever. It's like, okay, but then Winter Soldier got legitimately arrested. They're like, no, actually, there is actually a warrant for you. And I was like, so that's a way better way to handle that. You know what I mean? Like, because as soon as that scene came up, I thought, "Oh dear, are they doing this?" Because like that would have my heart sank. Honestly, I was like,
Batwoman stuff, yeah.
Right. It's like if they do this Batwoman stuff, I'm gonna bark.
Batwoman stuff will now be
that's gonna be the Batwoman stuff. Yeah, they're gonna Batwoman this scene, and then it's like, no, it turns around. It's like, well, actually, there is a warrant out for you.
Well, there is, yeah. No, we knew that. Yeah,
it's so funny. It's like, no, we're legitimately arresting you. It's like, oh, it's like that was great. He's like, no. He goes, everything's fine. He's like, no, it's not. There's actually a warrant. And I thought this was the perfect way to kind of like just dismantle that. And even when he was coming back, and he's like, oh, he said my people are against me and all that. He's like, he goes, oh, don't sweat it. And he's like, no, he meant my people as in Hydra, not me as in I'm a white guy.
Yeah.
That was funny too. He's like, no, he means Hydra. And Sam's like, oh, that was done well.
Or the white was it the White Lion thing? Where he's like, like some sort of White Panther. It's like, actually, it's White Lion or whatever.
No, it's White Wolf.
Is it White Wolf? Yeah, it's White Wolf. Yeah.
They said that in was it Endgame?
Yes.
They call White Wolf in Endgame.
Yeah, one of those ones. It's like, I think it's Endgame, right? No, not Endgame. It's Infinity War. One of those ones where they cut to him. It's like, what's Bucky doing? And he's off in a camp somewhere in Wakanda.
Wakanda.
And then they kept calling him White Wolf or whatever.
I'm seeing I'm trying to see when he was called that. Yeah. Well, there's White Wolf, obviously. Let's see. He's not going to have
White Wolf isn't a Marvel character. It's White Tiger is the
I know White
character.
Oh yeah,
we know who White Tiger is. We have the character in Marvel, the Marvel game.
Yeah.
No, White Wolf is the alias.
Oh, I guess White Wolf is a thing.
Alias given to a Winter Soldier.
So
okay.
Something tells me that Andrew really likes the Reverse Flash. I don't know what it is. Something just
Eobard Thawne, and then there's Superman.
He just switched.
He switched to Supes.
But the name is still Reverse Flash. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, there's BA.
That's such a great. I'm glad they did that costume. I'm glad they did the.
I was gonna say because Flash has been done many times in live action. It's kind of weird, but it kind of looks like the very first one from that superhero roast But anyway.
Yeah, so there was the challenge of the super. Oh, no, I'm sorry. What was
Challenge of
that
the
called,
Superheroes?
Challenge of the Superheroes. The Justice League failed
Justice
pilot.
League TV pilot, yeah.
John Wesley Shipp, the
Yeah.
first one season only of Flash.
Yeah.
Then we saw Barry Allen, and he had several costumes. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, Grant Gustin.
Yeah.
So there's been 4 actors in live action. Was there
But the
anyone else?
most known ones are.
What about Smallville? Does that guy count?
That's not Barry Allen.
That wasn't Barry Allen. Was that Wally?
No, it was Bart.
Bart Allen.
That's Impulse or whatever.
Impulse, yeah.
Okay, so there's been 4 live action Flashes then? Is that right?
Sounds
1,
right.
2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, 5 if you count the movie one.
Oh, I'm sorry, 5. Ezra
I don't
Miller.
know why you this guy.
Because now we know who my ranking, I suppose. Because I don't even remember Ezra Miller.
I'm not.
He's definitely better than the 2 TV.
I thought you meant
the 2 old
Chang and like in jazz and stuff.
So I mean, yeah. Did you watch? So Sean, did you finish Invincible or no?
Yeah, I saw
That was
it's
my
3 episodes right now.
I've only seen the first one and like 1 second of the second one.
Yeah. So there's 8 in all. So there's 3 right now, and then they'll do week by week. They'll do like
They'll do. Oh, okay, I see. What are your thoughts?
Is that on Netflix?
No, it's on Amazon Prime.
Amazon Prime.
I saw like
I don't have Prime.
But then you try to see what happens if nothing.
Andrew, should we mute you? All right, I'm gonna mute Andrew. Yeah. All right.
Or we could join in this conversation.
Yeah. So I mean I saw the first episode. So I've read this many Invincible
Nothing.
comics.
Yeah.
This is how much I know about
the stand-ins because it's all just like variations of comic characters right?
Yeah. So
and even like villains and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you read any Invincible?
No.
Did you know?
I feel like I want to now, but
did you know anything prior? Did you know about it or anything?
I knew of it, and I knew the costume, and that's it.
That's it. I know the costume. I didn't even I know the costume. That's it.
Yeah.
It's like I know nothing else. And wow. Okay. So, dude, I don't know what's going on. Steve hasn't seen it yet, so we'll try not to spoil, I suppose. Andrew, when you're ready to come back, you can private chat me. I knew nothing. So I'm watching this, and then that ending of episode 1, I was like, oh my God, what the hell is happening here? Like, this is insane. Like, I was literally like destroyed. I thought, oh my God, what the hell? So I was very shocked. So now I'm gonna have to binge that sucker large.
I read reviews where they said the comic does the same kind of thing, where it seems like a happy, fun, bright comic, like old Silver Age type of stuff, and then stuff goes down all of a sudden, and it's done to like shock you, and to hook you in, like what the hell? Because it's such a jarring tone shift.
Yeah.
And that's what happened in episode 1. And so into episode 2, you didn't see episode 2, right?
No, I'm gonna watch it when we get off this live stream. I will be up until I need to be up until to catch up to it.
They're cool. I like it. I like it a lot. So
yeah.
And I like all the characters, and I love the art style. It's great. And the characters are cool because all of it reminds me a lot of just DC comics, just like a pre-crisis DC, with all the different scenarios and stuff, and all the different teams and things. It's neat. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna finish off. I'm not gonna go buy the comics and all that just because it's just like I'm not.
It's too much. Yeah,
it's just too much. I started reading Firepower. I really liked the first miniseries. I liked the first couple issues. Then I just kind of stopped only because there's just so much to get. I mean, no other reason than that. I think Robert Kirkman, I think he's good. I saw him. I've heard him in interviews. He's a nerd. Yeah. And I don't think, I'm not going to throw Mark Miller under the bus or anything,
I will if you won't.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, maybe under a tricycle or something, but like, he comes in and he's always like, "Oh, I'm gonna, deconstruct this or do this or that." Invincible seems like it's still a superhero thing. Like, I don't know what happens with Invincible himself, like the actual person Invincible, like the character Invincible. But the first episode, even with like the super jarring, ending or whatever, I still feel that the like Invincible, it's still gonna feel like it's heroics. I don't know. I could be wrong. Like, I don't know, Sean, if I'm wrong or not.
No,
like,
it's still heroics. Yeah, it's still the same stories you've always read for comic books, but done with like these like the violence makes sense. Like the one thing like that happens in episode one is the mystery. So
right.
But it's set up as a mystery. The other violence that happens makes sense, the collateral damage and stuff, but it's not mean spirited. Like the heroes still try to save people. People die while that happens, but they're actually trying to make a difference. It's like this is gonna be an obscure quote for most people, but like Chris 3 versus the end of Man of Steel. Where in Man of Steel, I think what people couldn't put their finger on but were bothered by is that people are dying and Superman doesn't seem to care. Like there's not that sort of philosophy in the writing of it. It's like, wouldn't he save at least a few people or try to? In Chris 3, there's that same kind of mega battle in like Delhi or something between the hero and the villain. They're super powered and their things are collapsing on people. Chris still tries to save some people, and he does. Other people die, like the guy in that cab that gets smashed flat dies, but it's still showing that the hero cares and tries to do something about it, So it's like that. That's kind of like Invincible. Like people die in horrible, gruesome ways, but like the heroes are still trying to do something.
Yeah, come on in, Grey Malkin. I posted I'll post the link again.
So this is where I think you're right, Sean. It's a mentality thing, but I think it's where the difference between fighting someone to stop them and fighting someone to kill them.
Right.
And I feel like Snyder's guys fight guys to like kill them. It's more like a definitive, for lack of a better term, action movie thing. To be honest with you, I'm going to go to like Die Hard. Did John McClane really need to drop Hans Gruber outside? He could have pulled him up and arrested him, but he dropped him, right?
Right.
Because he was like, well, I don't know if I don't trust the justice system or whatnot, or I'm just pissed off, but like, I'm just trying to save my wife because they're both hanging on. But like, I think that Snyder's characters don't fight to stop the villains.
I can't help but think of Kirk from Star Trek 3 where he kicks Christopher Lloyd, like, oh, I have had enough of you, and then he kicks him.
Yeah, but he killed his son. He killed his son in Star Trek 3.
Yeah, but he still tries to save Christopher Lloyd, and then but Christopher Lloyd still won't stop. He's trying to kill him, and he's like, "Oh, I have had enough of you," and he I
watched classic Star Trek.
Each kick is like a syllable. Yeah.
I'm asking something. I'm like, what do you mean on that whole? Like, you don't feel like his characters really actual heroes or whatever? Can you explain?
Yeah, I don't feel that they are, because if Batman is willing to kill people, why is Commissioner Gordon willing to work with them? Wouldn't Commissioner Gordon?
My whole viewpoint on that is, I feel like he kind of knows Gotham, and
you're cutting out on us too. We lost you there.
Oh, sorry about that. Just want to say, I kind of feel like he knows Gotham City to a certain. Oh, sorry. Just want to say. Oh, you're going. Oh, I kind of feel like
Edgar, you're like totally cutting out. I don't know what happened.
All right,
Edgar, you're like totally cutting out. I don't know what happened. Yeah, he's you're like totally cutting out. Whoa. The sound. Grey Malkin, do you have YouTube on? Yeah, there you go. See
All
that?
right. I was like, what is that?
So let's. Gray, you don't have YouTube on anymore, right? Our YouTube off. Like you're not listening to us on YouTube.
Okay, all right. I thought it was me. I like.
Gray, you don't have somebody's doing it.
Not me.
Not me.
Okay, hold on. We're gonna mute everybody for a second. Okay, Steve.
Yeah.
Talk.
Yep.
Sean, talk.
Hello.
Yeah,
Blah,
Gray
blah.
Malkin. I think something's up with yours. You might have it if you have YouTube on as well. Then that might be.
It's okay now.
No, because I muted him.
Oh, okay.
I tested everybody. I muted everybody.
All right, my bad, guys. I had both on at the same time. I didn't know, but I'm still getting used to this thing.
All right.
Andrew's back.
Andrew.
Hey guys.
All right. So Edgar is just private chatting me saying he's got to take off. Okay. So yeah, come back if we get the thing. So I think everyone's
Take care,
audio is
Edgar.
good now.
Sorry, Edgar. That was me.
All right. So I think we're good. We're good now.
He had to go anyway. I think so. I think you're good.
Okay, yeah. Well, just to finish, my point was that if Commissioner Gordon is allowing Batman to kill people, why would he work with them? Because the whole point is like now you're working with the cops. So Commissioner Gordon should be like, well, I can't condone this, and that's sort of the point of that. What happens when you take characters that are already established and you start putting your little spin on them? You have to think a lot about what you're doing, because if it's not established already, you're like, okay, if Batman is so hurt by the death of Robin by the Joker kills Robin, this turns Batman into a crazy guy who's now killing people. Well, now he just lost Commissioner Gordon because he's like, look, I can't work with you. And if you're a known killer, I'm definitely not going to put the bat signal up in the air and call you to help me with stuff.
Yeah.
Even if I was going to work with you, I'd have to work with you in private and secret because the mayor's not going to allow me to use the bat signal to call you when you're a known killer. Number two, if he's so destroyed over the death of Robin, why doesn't he kill the man who killed Robin, who is the man who's done the most damage to Gotham City out of anyone all combined? So that's what happens when you change one little aspect of a character. It's like, now if you're going to say Commissioner Gordon says, screw the bat signal, I'm turning it off. Batman's a wanted felon. We have to bring him in. And he kills the Joker right away. And then he kills all of his other villains. Then I'll say, okay, you've thought this through, but you haven't thought it through. That's my problem. It's not even.
If you kill the Joker, though, like it's not Two-Face, it's not the Penguin. They have order. Like Joker, he's just like a rabid dog in a henhouse.
Yeah, he doesn't kill him.
Yeah, but I think J-Man's point is that Batman has now adopted the philosophy in those movies that he will kill, so he kills others, but he doesn't kill Joker.
Right.
And then it doesn't make any sense.
Right.
Well, I think that's more I think that's more like the movie system because like you it's satisfying when you kill the bad guy. You get the bad you don't want to.
Yeah.
It's reminiscent. It's a throwback to the 80s with like the Dirty Harry, the Rambos. Like a real winner kills their enemies.
Yeah.
Like,
Batman 89 comes from that because it's 89. But he followed through. He was like, listen.
He killed Joker. He killed Penguin.
Yeah.
He didn't really care if Catwoman, it's like he was okay with it. Go ahead, Steve. Do your point.
I was going to say, like, I actually realized I've seen every Zack Snyder movie. And I was thinking of a parallel. I actually own every Zack Snyder movie.
So do I.
And I think if you look at a parallel in Zack Snyder's movies, and we won't take Dawn of the Dead, because I don't really count that as much of because that was more of a remake. That was him getting
it's not Zack Snyder's vision.
Right. So we look at 300, very lawless world, right? The strong survive, right? If you come with an army, you'll survive. Watchmen is a countdown to nuclear weapon. Like the world is like coming to an end, right? Yeah. Sucker Punch. It's the world within Baby Doll's mind.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Even the Owls of Galooly, like animated CGI movie, was a very lawless world.
Yeah.
If you look at the parallels of Zack Snyder's worlds, all of them have either an element of lawlessness, or it's coming to an end, or dystopian society. And I feel like he was making these movies as if he was still operating in that society, but it wasn't conveyed. So it was normal society and what came across as psychotic superheroes.
Yeah,
it can't be lawless if it. Yeah, it's a weird world. It's like I rewatched the Snyder cut, and yeah, they
4
still
hours.
make mention of. Yeah, I know. I rewatched it, and I chased it with Aquaman, and it's quite a jarring tone shift, right? So yeah, but yeah, even in that movie, they make mention of the hope that Superman conveyed, and everyone loved him. It's like we never saw that. I don't think we saw that. You know, it's like we saw people being really, really afraid of that guy, and there's a very dreary montage of Superman, I guess, saving stuff in Batman vs Superman, but there was never really that. It's just it's just lip service paid to like, oh, but people loved him and hope and stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Let me tell you about that montage of Savior. He saves these people. I watched that montage just the other, 2 weeks ago or whatever. It was on TV. You can't even see Superman. They're like, "Who saved you?"
Yeah.
It's a guy. It's a guy with a cape. That could have been anybody. It's like you can't even see that it is Superman. That's why you need to have a bright costume so people say, "Wow, there's the hope that we see. We see Superman." If you don't see him, he may as well be Batman saving you.
But I don't. All right, all right. Sorry to be that guy, but
be the guy.
Be that guy.
We saw how great Superman, or how people. All right, remember in the Whedon version, we saw that that podcast thing with those two kids. I'm like, that is really sweet. Like that guy, like that's that guy. Oh, come on. All right.
Pictures 1,000 words.
It's undercut by the effects of the lip. That's all anyone talks about.
My heart's starting to soften. I like seeing like little pieces of humanity like that. It's not just always punching in the face. But
look, okay, hold on a second. If your review of Zack Snyder's Justice League is that it's better than the other one, that's a non-review.
No.
Because that's like saying I'd rather drink a bowl of this than eat a bowl of poo. It's like
no.
That doesn't mean
it's not that.
It's not you. I'm not saying for you, Gray Malkin. I'm not saying you. I'm saying anybody. It's like we're not comparing movies. It's like I'm comparing the movie I'm watching now to itself. It's like saying this is better than. It's like, well, I like Alien better than Aliens. Does that mean Aliens is garbage? I don't understand what you're saying. It's like I like both Aliens movies. It's like Zack Snyder's Justice League doesn't make sense for the characters. Period. That is my opinion, and I can back it up with several facts that come from the movie, and not just my interpretation of what I think he meant. I need to see it happen. I need to see Superman give a speech about how we're going to go help people and then go do and help people, not just say it.
Talking about
I help people, and then he does nothing. And
but no, Superman's doing more. Like I remember in Batman v Superman during the party, he heard about that fire was an explosion or fire or something in Mexico City. He didn't stop to talk. He just like, oh, I got to take care of this right now, and took care of it. The next time we saw that TV, he was already there saving kids.
Well,
they could show.
I get that, but I think the problem with the way Zack Snyder portrays Superman is like he wasn't interested in showing that or conveying what that meant and felt. It's like what you see of that is people like touching him as though he's a god, and I think that's all he's really interested in showing is the iconography and the godlike status of these characters, rather than the hope they convey, right?
Well, they talked about that entire time. They would say when during the beginning of that montage, Batman v Superman, they were talking about how would you feel if Superman said, I couldn't save your child, but on principle we couldn't, and like that whole okay. Superman is cool, like, but don't politicize him. Like that's what.
Right.
I think that was the main point of the movie. They were trying to politicize him.
They're trying to make it realistic, and they have Neil deGrasse Tyson and whoever else like talking about like what if Superman were real. Meanwhile, I'm in a movie theater eating my popcorn, expecting a Superman movie.
Right.
where I can root for the character, not question whether or not he should save X, Y, Z. It's like that's not really what this is. That's not the fantasy of Superman.
Dude, you know, guys, while we were just having this chat, I just looked outside and I saw Superman fly by. Oh, wait, I didn't, because Superman's not real.
Yeah.
It's like tomorrow morning I have to get up and go to work. Okay? And it's garbage. When I come home, I want to watch Superman save people. Let me give you an example. The first 5 minutes of Superman and Lois, he flies in, the car falls, he grabs the car, and I don't even care whether it's the Action Comics cover or not. He puts the car down, the kid's hat flew off. He takes the time to pick up the hat, gives it to the kid. The kid's like, thanks. He puts the hat on the kid, and he's like, wow, cool costume. He's like, thanks, my mom made it for me. And then he flies off, and when he flies off, the kid looks up in awe, and the hat that he was so concerned about getting back falls off, and he doesn't care about it anymore because he's like, wow, Superman. That's a human interaction with Superman and the person he's saving, not, oh, you are a god,
on a
Superman.
practical level, it was shown and not told. I feel like Zack Snyder tells a lot and doesn't really, which is ironic because he's a mega visual filmmaker, but visual as in filmmaking, not storytelling. Because a lot of the time, I feel like his characters have to say a thing in order to convey it rather than show it, right? It's like that was one of my complaints last time we talked, J-Man, like about Man of Steel, where Superman goes to a priest and he's complaining about how, like maybe humanity doesn't deserve like to be saved and blah blah blah, right? That's his stance after 30 years on Earth, right? And then later on when he fights Zod's like, like Krypton, blah blah blah, and then Superman's like, well, Krypton had its chance, right? And I don't know at what point he changed his mind. I don't know why he changed his mind, but he's telling me now that he has, so I guess I should be satisfied by that. Like, that's Zack Snyder's storytelling. Show me why he thinks this way now. Show it to me. Like, J-Man, you just had that example from Superman and Lois. That shows you the awe and respect Superman conjures in people. Him giving back, and him being a nice guy, it shows you that rather than telling it to you, right? So,
yeah, like for example,
anyway,
we don't see why we're just told, oh, we just see a shot of Robin's costume, and we're like, oh, Joker killed Robin, that's why Batman's like that. Yeah, but I can't get invested in Batman becoming crazy if I haven't seen his anguish. I just see Batman killing people. I haven't seen his anguish or his torture. Maybe he could have held the body up like in Death in the Family and been like, oh my God, Robin, no. And then there's like maybe a montage of him going crazy. And then Alfred's like, it's like, sir, he goes, I saw in the news you hurt that man pretty badly. It's like, oh, Alfred, they deserve it, and show him becoming this Batman. It's just like, oh, Batman's just mean now because Robin was killed. It's like, okay, I guess I believe you. We studied Silence of the Lambs in school, and Steve, you were in this class, I believe, with me. And there's a show and tell aspect to the Silence of the Lambs. Buffalo Bill is considered the villain of that film, and he captures the women, skins them, wears their bodies, uses their, and we're watching all of this take place, and we're like, wow, Buffalo Bill's a piece of shit. He's an asshole. And you don't think that much about Hannibal Lecter. You think, wow, he's kind of cool. Because they never show you the depravity that he's capable of in that film. He's only has dialogue that's cool, and they're like, oh, he's a killer and he eats people, you have to be careful. But you never see him do any of that in that movie. So you kind of think, hey, this guy's cool, and you're not that scared of him. Whereas Buffalo Bill, you're like, oh God, he's creepy, he's weird. When he's naked and he's kind of like pretending to be the woman and he's hiding himself, you're just like, this guy's crazy. But they never show you anything that Hannibal Lecter does. So you're like, oh, he's kind of cool. And that's the difference in filmmaking. If you don't see it happen on the screen, you don't have a feel for it. You're just being told a story. And it's like, well, Hannibal Lecter killed all these people. Like, yeah, okay. But if you see him torture and kill and eat the person and force them to eat themselves, like in the TV series, you're like, wow, Hannibal's a piece of crap. And that's your difference. Batman's like, oh, he's just mad now. Okay, but I don't care. What if you missed that line of dialogue? What if you're eating your popcorn and you missed the pan where they showed the Joker, like the no, I'm serious. you missed that, and you look up, you're like, wait, Batman's killing people? Why? Oh, you missed the 3-second shot where they showed, Robin's costume that you were supposed to infer as a regular person that Joker killed Robin. Some people might not even piece that together. They just might be like, what was that about?
I mean, no one put together that
Batman v
nightmare scene.
Superman to me should have just we should not have been told anything about Batman. We should have just saw it from Clark's perspective and let Batman just be, because really, without Lex Luthor, Batman's the villain. He's strictly the villain, and no one wants to say it.
I know. Let me tell you.
It's really
Okay, I'm gonna paint the picture of the Henry Cavill Superman legacy. He doesn't know who he is in the first movie, doesn't think humanity should be saved. At the end, he snaps Zod's neck and becomes Superman that we all know and love, which is not true. But anyways, he becomes Superman. In the next movie, Batman beats him up and then he dies. In the third movie, right, Batman beats him up and then Doomsday kills him, or he dies by whatever way. And then in the next movie, he's not in it until the last few minutes where he fights a little bit. That is the cinematic universe. That is the cinematic scope of Henry Cavill. He's not Superman for 2 hours until he is at the end. Then in the next movie, it's all about Batman, and Batman beats the crap out of him, and then Doomsday kills him. And then in the next movie, he's not in it until the last hour where he fights a few guys in a black costume. That's the cinematic legacy of Henry Cavill Superman. Does this sound very inspiring to you?
Nah. Not as inspiring as the 18 biopics we get of Batman every year.
I know. Who's Batman?
We have to do a running count. How many animated movies have they made of Batman? They make one every 2 months.
Yeah,
I can't keep up. I can't do it.
But it's only because Batman is arguably the easiest of the known superheroes to shoot, because he doesn't have any powers. Yeah. He just has a bunch of gadgets.
The budget's low. The budget's
lower. They can, everyone knows the rogues. They got a bunch of guys they can draw from. Like Superman, part of the problem is that, okay, who's he going to fight? I would love to see them do Metallo or one of the other guys, but everyone's just like, Luthor. Okay, Luthor.
Yeah, no, they've never utilized the character's full potential.
Yeah.
None of his rogues gallery. Yeah.
Somebody in the Superman Facebook group was like, Superman 3, at least it wasn't Luthor, and he turned evil, and then he fought the computer, which you could say was good or bad, but at least it wasn't Luthor. Superman 4 was Nuclear Man. It's Luthor, but at least he fought Nuclear Man. It wasn't like Luthor made a guy and then he went off and fought. They're trying to do, he had Zod.
Well, Superman 3, they didn't try to do anything. It's just a mess. It's Hackman didn't come back. That's the only reason why Luthor's not in that movie.
I don't care the reasons. I care about
I'm going to fight you on that, Sean. I love Superman.
I know you love Superman 3, but Hackman didn't come back. That's the only reason why Luthor's not in that movie. He didn't come back. That's the only reason why. And they had a Luthor lookalike.
We got Robert Vaughn, who was terrific. He's who
plays a Luthor-like character.
You didn't kill Superman. I gave you one simple thing to do, and you couldn't even accomplish that one simple task.
Yeah.
He drops. I mean, it's brilliant. That fight in the
in the dumpster?
The junkyard?
In the junkyard, yeah.
It was awesome. I love that.
Go to if you go to the first picture.
Superman 3, I always think of that when I think of kids watching movies that probably are not very appropriate for them, because I love Superman. I was Superman that Halloween. So I had a Superman themed birthday party that year because of Superman 3. So
okay, look, this photograph is a better Superman costume and brighter than the ones we got in Superman Return. And this was the evil Superman. I showed Superman 3 to my niece and nephew a few months ago. Just kind of before. Geez, no, it was before COVID, actually. I'm sorry. It was like a year ago now.
It's Roid Rage to Superman.
And look, that's Henry Cavill. Henry Cavill does that face when he's the good guy Superman.
Serious.
Right? So now hold on. So anyways, so I showed it to and they were like, and they looked at me, they're like, hey, his costume got a little bit darker. What's going on? I'm like, I should have just said, what's going on? Oh no, that's just gonna be, don't worry, it'll get much darker to the point where you can't see it anymore. And then it'll just be that'll be your other version of Superman.
No, I mean,
The way
like,
they
you
make
know,
Superman, I think they need to give him the Thor treatment. They need to give him a comedy. Let him be the straight man and have somebody else do all the funny. Like
They did that.
Man, it's cool.
They did that.
Like
in
Lobo.
Superman 3. Richard Pryor,
That.
like one of the greatest comedic actors of
Ever.
like all time,
Yeah.
as the guy, and
George
like
Carlin, just saying.
like and you know what, Sean, you're right. It like critically, it is a mess, but I get so much pleasure
Sorry,
from
man,
that.
mute me.
Is that me?
Is that Sean?
See,
I muted you, Sean.
that's
All right.
Superman 3 phoning you right now.
Phoning it in. Just phoning it in.
I get so much pleasure from that movie when Richard Pryor shows up and he's like, as the army general, and he's giving that nonsensical speech, and he's like so passionate, he like breaks his stick. I love that scene. It makes no sense. I have no idea what he's talking about, but I'm just crying with laughter because
He's just trying to give him the fake kryptonite.
Yeah, the fake
and
kryptonite,
he can't seem to come up with a reason why. So he's making it up on the spot. He's like, I just want to say, thank heavens, thank God for Superman. And you're like, okay. And he's like, now, he goes, not any one of you sitting here. You know, you're just like, what is happening?
you know,
I'm just gonna be a truthful. I've never seen Superman beyond Superman 1. That's it.
Really?
Right. Like Superman was boring to me. Like, remember, I was a kid of the 90s. Batman was everything. Like Wonder Woman afterthought, but like I like Superman now because you realize, like, growing up, you think Superman is a wimp. When you're adult, you realize he's not that bad. But with Batman, you think he's the man growing up, but then when you realize as adult, like, this is an emotional cripple who cannot let go. He can't let go.
Superman was always cool to me. I've got photos of me as a little kid with a big, huge Superman stuffed toy thing that that actually had like Velcro on its hand, so you could like put him on you and stuff.
Yeah.
And then I had Spider-Man the same, and I had all of the parachute men, and I had all of the superpowers. I had so many Superman superpower toys. I love Superman. I wore the cape, as a kid. He was always, like, to me, Superman is strong. Christopher Reeve, I love Christopher Reeve. I have a recurring donation to his foundation every month. I love Christopher Reeve. He's like inspirational to me. Superman is my third favorite movie of all time. First is Conan, then Star Wars, then Empire Strikes Back, then Superman. I like all the Superman movies because Christopher Reeve is just the best. You really need to watch Superman 2 and watch the Donner cut as well, but watch Superman 2, the regular cut first, because some of the lines are a little bit better. But Superman Donner cut is great too. And Superman 3 is awesome. When Superman is turning evil, it's very scary. And when he's in the bar drinking and he's flicking the peanuts and like breaking all of you're just like, oh. And at Superman 4, it's cheesy, but Superman himself, like Christopher Reeve, is so invested in that role where you're just like, wow. And the thing is like, it's not Christopher Reeve is playing a character. It's like he is. When Christopher Reeve got injured, my friend in school, I'm not going to name him in case he doesn't want to be named. We were heartbroken. We were like, we couldn't even look at Christopher Reeve. We would just start crying. I'm going to start crying now, just thinking about it, to be honest with you. Like it hurt us so bad. We're like, oh God, no. And even though Christopher Reeve appeared in other films and TV series after when he was crippled and he was in Smallville and stuff, it was so hard to watch that because we were so heartbroken over it. And it's like, this is why this transcends like, oh, it's just a movie or whatever. No, it's not. Superman isn't just a thing for me. I want to have hope. I want to walk out and be like, yeah, that was awesome. And I never got that since Superman 4. A little bit in Superman and Lois where you're like, yeah, like when she called him and he came in and smashed that guy, I was like, yeah, that was good. It's like, that's what I want. And like, I'm just not getting that. Having cool action and having him fight guys is cool. And people saying, yeah, Superman's cool, but I need to see more emotion. Batman to me is my second favorite character, but Batman to me, I want to just see him fight guys and solve crimes. Like, I love when he's solving crimes. It's like something happens, like, ooh, Batman's on the case. Okay, Commissioner Gordon calls me. It's like, there's a murder. So somebody found some weird thing. And he's like, all right, I'm on it. And then he's investigating. I'm like, yeah, this is cool. And we never got that in the movies. So because we never got that, I just ended up going to default fantasy mode, which is why I like Batman Returns. It's like, well, I'll just have it be like a cool looking gothic fantasy movie. If I'm not going to get a detective story, then I'd rather just have a fantasy movie, which is why I don't like the Nolan stuff, because it's just an action movie without any investigation and without any fantasy. So I'd rather have investigation. If I don't get investigation, then give me fantasy. But don't give me hardcore realism, because hardcore realism means that Batman should not have a cape. He should not have horns. He should not have a bat symbol. He shouldn't be throwing bat symbol things to identify who he is. He should be like the Punisher. He goes around, kills the bad guys, and he goes home.
No, he's not that bad. He's not that bad. Like,
right, but if you're gonna do,
Punisher.
if you're doing gritty, realistic action, then that is gritty, realistic action. If you want to be gritty and realistic, not this halfway stuff.
Hey, we don't need to compare Bruce Wayne to George Zimmerman. Okay, we don't need to do that. Like, wait, that's the Punisher, right? That was George Zimmerman's the Punisher.
No, Punisher. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but he's the crazy white guy who just kills people.
Yeah, he kills the bad guys.
No,
I don't know.
Are they bad guys? So it seems like he's a bad guy. It's all like it's objective. Like
so that means Batman's a bad guy, and so is Superman, and so is Wonder Woman, because they killed people in it too, right? That's the thing. They're all killers.
Yeah, it's like with Batman though. I don't know. I just get the feeling Bruce Wayne's not even being the best Batman he could be. I mean, he can't stop. You can't not stop crime in Gotham. Okay, I understand that. But what if you could control it? Like Bruce Wayne himself could do more as Bruce Wayne than he ever could as Batman.
Right.
If he was to control the crime, he could run everything.
But the problem is that Batman doesn't want to give up his crusade. It's not a mission; it's a crusade.
Right.
And the thing is that if you look at any of the supporting characters, be it Dick Grayson or Jason Todd or Red Robin or like Huntress or any of the other characters, they continue to say we're trying to please this guy, but you can't please him. And the reason you can't, he doesn't want you along, right? He wants to do it by himself. He doesn't want to draw anyone else into his world.
Right.
Right. Like when he got Dick Grayson, it was a pity thing. He got him as a ward because he was orphaned. And he's like, okay, we need this, I need to take care of this kid. Like I was taken care of when I was made an orphan. But he didn't really want him to be Robin.
Right.
Right. Like Jason Todd was trying to fill the gap that Dick Grayson left when he grew up and became Nightwing.
Right.
Like all of it is like still his personal crusade. It has nothing to do with doing the right thing anymore. Right? Yeah. Like
it's just him. It's like this. Yeah. I'm gonna live and die by this. This is I'm a samurai. Like
that's exactly right. Like he's dedicated his life to this crusade. He doesn't really want anyone else to do it. He's pushed away Spoiler. He's pushed away all those other characters, right?
And a real relationship.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I'm sorry. No, just the whole Talia al Ghul thing. Like he's still not a little bit mad about that. Like, what are you be angry about that?
Well, the Talia al Ghul thing was always weird to me because Batman doesn't fall in love and he doesn't have children. Like that was the weird thing to me. That seemed convenient more than anything. I love Damian Wayne as
me too, though. I love Damian Wayne.
I feel like
but it doesn't make sense. Like Bruce Wayne has always had a girlfriend for appearances. He's never cared about being married or having a family.
Right.
Like he's never going to do that. So him having her was a little bit weird. But the whole Ra's al Ghul thing has always been weird to me. So
I get it. Ra's al Ghul is a fun character.
Oh yeah, he's a terrific character, but he doesn't fit with the rest of them.
No, he really doesn't.
No.
And so, like, when J-Man, when you were saying about like with Superman, he doesn't know why if humanity really even deserves to be saved. Yeah. There are a lot of people out there who feel the same way.
Yeah, see, but Superman shouldn't. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like, Superman is supposed to be like, no, everyone deserves to be
You gotta
saved or
ask the
whatever.
question, though. I mean, like, you can't. It's like, I don't care if you're a cop, you work in the clergy. You always stop and ask yourself, "Am I doing the best? Am I being the best me I can be? And is what I'm doing? Am I right?"
Right.
You're right. You're right, Gray Malkin. And my viewpoint is very simple. Do you know the movie Knowing with Nicolas Cage?
Yes.
So that ending, my dad saw the same movie. He's like, "Oh, it was terrible. The world got destroyed." I'm like, "No, that was the best part." So that's my viewpoint, right? So that's probably why I've always been drawn. So, like characters who question, should I be doing this or that? That's my natural inclination, right? That's who the characters I'm drawn to. But even I understand that Superman represents the best in all of us. He represents someone who he'll carry on when no one else will, right? Like that's what I feel Superman is. Like he is the best of all of us, right? And I think that's actually what they said, the literal words they said when he died, when he got killed by Doomsday in the comics, is he represented the best of all of us.
Mm-hmm.
I feel I think it'd be really funny if Superman was really doing. He was because he's Kryptonian. He's not human. What if this is his way of doing like his version of human face? Like this is what we all. This is what we all.
I think the thing is that like if look, this is what the character of Superman is. If you want to do your version, this is the bottom line. If you want to do your interpretation of Superman and change things, you're free to do that. And then a lot of people are free to not like your thing.
Yeah.
And this is what happens, right? It's like, we're going to do my version of Superman. And then people are like, well, some people thought, oh, that's cool. I like that. I can get behind that. And some people are like, I don't like this. And it's like, well, unfortunately, the people that like it need to provide more money to make it go on, because generic people, I said the story before you were on, generic people at my office who are all in their 50s, they all, they watch whatever movie comes on just to watch something, right? And almost everyone there loved Wonder Woman 84, which I also loved, but they loved Wonder Woman 84 because they're like, that was a fun movie. And she's pretty and she's in love and she's flying. This is so cool. She saves people. And a lot of people didn't like Justice League. The few who watched it, they're like, hey, Sean. So they're like, well, what's going on? This is weird. Is that it's like, why is it so dark and all that? And the problem is that the people who are going hashtag, save the Snyderverse, those people need to pay money. They need to put money where their mouth is and buy it on 4K and go out there and pay for it. And if they're not going to do that, Warner's is like, well, it's not making money. It's performed. They're saying I saw a thing saying it's performed worse than Wonder Woman 84. And that's because generic people, a little bit worse. Generic people will just watch Wonder Woman and be like, oh, that was fun. Like they're not getting into the psychology of the character or why it was done. They're just like, that was a fun, light movie. I watched it with my family. We had dinner. We watched it. We thought that was a lot of fun. And then they watch Justice League. They're like, wow, this is really long. It's kind of depressing. Nothing's going on. Like, what's happening in this movie? And then they just turn on.
Yeah, it performed worse, but I wouldn't say it was a terrible performance.
No. Yeah,
and Wonder Woman was a Christmas release in the middle of a pandemic, and so everyone was like, "Oh, this is cool. Let's watch this." Right?
Yeah, well, but no. So what I was saying, Sean, was I'm saying generic people, who liked it. They're like, "Oh, that was a lot of fun." Like literally, I came in that one day, and this one lady was like, "Oh my God, Jason, did you watch Wonder Woman? That was so good." And she's an older lady who likes Linda Carter, and she's like, "This was a lot of fun." And I'm like, exactly. And same with the Marvel movies. They always do well. But even the worst Marvel movies still do okay because people are like, well, that was a lot of fun. I liked it. And that's it. And literally people at my place are like, oh, DC, oh God, another DC movie. And I'm like, this is public perception. You can't make $200 million budget movies for 1 million people to watch or whatever. I don't know what the thing, whatever it is, 100,000 people or whatever it is. It's like, well,
and we live on the internet. Like a lot of the stuff we're getting is from the internet, where 10 people can carry the conversation and make it seem like they're the voice of a million.
Yeah.
But when you actually look at it, though, it's like this just 10 people saying that. When you enter the wide world, and this is why they say Twitter does not represent the world. It's true. It's because I can talk to you guys who are like comic book guys. There's 4 of us here. Then I'll go out and I'll hit 40 people who've never read a comic in their lives. You see what I'm saying? Like, and they represent the general public. I've always said, and this is with the demise of physical media, casual people are streamers, serious people are physical media. They want the cover, they want the best edition, they want the commentaries and the vision. They don't watch all that.
Because there's something about having it in your hand, like you have it, like you have it memory.
You have it.
And I have, you should see, I have the library downstairs, right? I have all these movies. I have like thousands of movies.
Yeah.
So I get what you're saying, but there's like 10 of the physical media, and then you'll see like 1,000 of the streamers.
Yeah.
And these are the people they're going to cater to, not us.
Yeah.
They still want our money, but they'll get more money with these other people.
Well, that's why I always thought that DC was kind of having its cake and eating it too, because for the casual fans, they have the movies, they have the live action movies, because a lot of people don't like cartoons for some reason. Weird thing. Like, I was talking to my brother about that the other day. He's like, I don't like anything that's animated. I want to see something real. I'm like, you watch Real Housewives. Anyway.
It's a live action cartoon.
Right. So we got the live action DC movies, but for the real fans like us, we got the animated movies.
Yeah,
I'm happy that we have the animated movies, because we got a better movie. We got a better movie in 90 minutes in both Avengers and Infinity War.
Yeah.
You're gonna tell me Justice League Dark was not amazing? It would not be made today.
You're absolutely right. But the thing is that me personally, I'm tougher on animated movies than physical media movie. Physical, like live action. The reason why is because all that you're there's no budget. Like the only thing you're held back by is your imagination, right? And like, so if I don't see an amazing animated movie, I'm disappointed. If I don't see an amazing live action movie, I'm not as disappointed, because I understand the budgetary restrictions and this and that. So it's kind of like a book. If you're reading a novel, all bets are off. There's no budget. So I should see visions of like grandeur in my head, right? It's the same on anime thing. Draw a beautiful city, right? Draw whatever. I should be able to see it. But then I'm like, okay, now we actually got to film it live action. We can't afford that. The CGI is like $1 million a millisecond. So like, you do what you can.
I'm with you on that. It's just like, okay, all right, you guys. We all grew up in the night. We all grew up in a time where comic movies were not a real moneymaker.
Right.
I'm still in the mindset of we got a Batman movie every 3 years, and we were lucky to get it. Well, I appreciate every comic book movie that comes out, because it's such an abundance. And plus, if you don't like Batman, there's somebody else for you. Like, if you don't like DC, there's a place for you. If you don't like Marvel, there's a place for you. If you want to watch it on TV show and see superheroes having sex, go to Amazon. They're doing everything.
But the thing is that as we go along and everyone has interpretation, Batman's a perfect example. Is you realize this is not the Batman you want. You know, it's like Star Wars. These aren't the droids you're looking for. This is not the Batman I want. There's this Batman. That's also not the Batman I want. So you end up when you're talking in a circle of people who've seen the Nolan movies, the Zack Snyder movies, and Gotham,
Schumacher's.
Yeah, like they're like talking to you, and you're like, I can't talk to you about Batman because you're watching everything that I don't connect to. I connect to this Batman. Might be Adam West, right?
Fair.
Like, I got nothing for you. Like, it's just like they want to talk Batman with you. They're like, oh yeah, we're going to talk Batman with you. I'm like, there's nothing to say. Unless you watch this, you don't understand my point of view.
I think the way I am here, when I'm talking here with on the stream or with you guys or people in chat, we're here talking about comic stuff. So we're a little bit in the know, right? When I'm talking to regular people and they're like, oh, I love, Dark Knight and all that and Dark Knight Rises and everything, because I'm not really a fan of those. They're okay. Yeah. And they're like, oh, and they're so excited. I'm like, yeah, Batman and stuff. And I literally had someone high up in my company talk to me like, they're like, oh, Batman's my favorite. And I was talking and it's like, hey, it's cool. And I'm thinking, I'm like, yeah, the Batman that you like is not the Batman that I want. But in any case, but I don't get into that because I want people to be interested in Batman, and same thing with Superman and all that. But I do find now, okay, this is only my personal thing that I find. When people talk to me about the Superman or Batman that I don't like, I'm always cool with them and be like, cool, yeah, that's awesome. But when I talk about the Superman and Batman that I like, they're not cool with me. Like, this is right. So within 1 second of me saying, oh, I wasn't really a fan of the Superman, in Snyder's universe, and someone's like, oh, you're a dumbass. It's like, okay, buddy. It's like, well, I didn't call you a dumbass for saying it was the best thing you've ever seen. So that's my problem. This is where you get into these arguments. It's like everyone wants to argue that their opinion is the right opinion. It's like, firstly, your opinion is your opinion and it's right for you. That's fine. And I don't care. Like, it's like, if someone says, I love the Snyderverse, I'm like, cool. If I say I hate it, they're like, oh, you're a dumbass. That is my experience of it. Right?
Yeah, you're not in line with the with what they perceive to be the mainstream and everything.
The mainstream, right?
I came to a horrible realization today. I feel with this whole Marvel using Penguin Random House as their distributor now rather than Diamond, right?
Yeah, DC.
We're not going to have. But Marvel and DC are not going to be publishing comics probably within the next 5 to 10 years. I think it's going to be a giant shift. I feel like that's going to happen.
Of course,
these characters are just going to be IP, and that's it.
Yeah,
and you guys are coming from you want to see what you see in the comics on the screen and those characterizations on the screen and those stories. Those stories probably won't be coming anymore, and it will strictly be IP. And that's what people perceive these characters to be now will be the governing force in the future. I feel. Anyway, I know that's horrible, but
no,
bleak future.
But like, it's whoever owns it. Like, if you own it, you can do whatever you want with it. You can have Batman in a bright white suit with like Hello Kitty on the ears. It doesn't look right. I don't want to see that now.
And that was actually my point. I had this conversation with J-Man before where we were talking about, is Hollywood going to survive, COVID and the closure to theaters and this and that, and all these scandals happening with cancel culture and all that. And I said, well, to be honest with you, if Hollywood stopped tomorrow, I have so much in my library to watch that I could withstand that hit. And it's the same. We have how much history, how many years of comics? Like, I'll be honest with you, other than talking with J-Man, I would just go back to what previously happened and just stay there because I really like it there. If you say go over here, well, I don't know if I like it over here. I don't know if I like it in, the latest relaunch of DC. Yeah, New Frontier. Like, I like over here. I like,
I like New 52.
I like 80s Hulk, right? Like, so, like, I don't need 90s Hulk. I have 80s Hulk. 80s Hulk is awesome. I just want to stay in 80s Hulk, right? So that's the great thing. Like, you shut everything down, and you have this nightmare scenario that Sean's alluding to that could very well happen. I got 80 years of comics to go through.
So let me comment on the comics going away or whatever. Everything that we've been getting in terms of live action films in Marvel or DC, pretty much, except for maybe Guardians. Sean, you can correct me. Maybe Planet Hulk with Thor Ragnarok. But most of the stuff that they're taking from comics, they're taking from old comics. They didn't do the Court of Owls,
right?
They didn't do the Victim Syndicate,
right?
Captain America, Winter Soldier, stuff
is
like
pretty
that.
new. Okay, so Winter Soldier is a bit new.
Yeah,
that's a bit newer, right? But a lot of it is Guardians is the newer Guardians, not the older Guardians, right?
Yeah.
So, but still, well, DC for sure then, because none of this is anything new, right? Like Batman Victim Syndicate is easy to do, right? Court of Owls would be very easy to do, right?
That's a TV show though. Like
they could easily, So they're
like,
not mining comics for that. Like they don't need to make new comics. They could have stopped making comics decades ago and still have enough material to mine for films.
My counter argument is the MCU, because they do take like current iterations of things and make the movies. Like I know, like even Captain America, like they took the military version of Captain America for that. Yeah, it's like, but they're doing that because they're mining current trends, and so they look to the comics. It's like this is the current version of Guardians, so we'll just do that, stuff like that, right? The Winter Soldier was a fairly new. It's the aughts, I think. When that was introduced, no, I'm pretty sure.
I'm not sure.
Like, Extremis was Iron Man 3. That was definitely the aughts.
Yeah.
Like they do.
They use it as a barometer for current trends,
right?
So that would be taken away.
But it's also
so they might. That's what I'm saying. They might not do it. Like
Right.
it costs them nothing to publish these comics.
Does it? I don't know. I mean,
I don't know.
They don't make that much.
They don't make that much.
They make a few million,
but
and that's great.
They're going to source it out.
But not to a corporation that makes billions.
I know, but they're going to source it out.
But regardless, it becomes like James Bond now. Ian Fleming's dead. He's not making any more new novels.
Yeah, and he just makes more
James Bond movies all the time.
Yeah,
that's what Sean. Yeah, so Sean is saying that. But what I'm saying is that, like, if they're gonna so AT&T was already thinking of like sourcing out the heroes
DC.
of DC. So somebody, if they want to or are so inclined, they'll just buy all of the DC properties and just publish
Marvel?
it that way.
Anyway.
Marvel.
That would be crazy.
That scenario almost happened. I mean, like Jim Shooter revealed on his blog that, like, in the mid '80s, Marvel was going to buy DC Comics because Warner Brothers was going to sell DC. They weren't making that much.
Why?
And oh, you didn't know that?
No,
if you go to Jim Shooter's blog,
Rob Liefeld said that one of his podcasts too.
That was a real thing. Marvel was eating DC's lunch for decades, and Marvel had a good 75 to 80% of the market, and that's what kind of killed comics in the '90s when they literally bought their own distributor, killed the second most distributor. Then couldn't handle distribution, so went back to Diamond, who was the only the only survivor of that distribution war, and then that's why Diamond became the only distributor that anyone used, right?
So and Sean, you and I talked about that from before.
It almost happened. DC has always struggled against Marvel as soon as Marvel came on the scene. In the '90s, DC started to overtake them because they had better ideas, quite frankly. But the two companies don't make that much money off comics. They probably make more off of like the trade paperbacks in like bookstores.
Are you telling me that the Snyder Cut fans are not at the comic store every Tuesday night picking up the latest DC books, Sean? Are you telling me that?
What in the haberdashery are you speaking of, Sean?
Oh my God. Okay, so first of all, I go to the comic shop every Tuesday when DC books come out. I also get the Marvel books early. Yay me!
Nice.
So that's how I read everything right away. We'll become friends. You just got to become friends with the owner. So anyway, but I'm not allowed to post reviews. That's the thing. Yeah, you can't post it anywhere, right? Because they put it on the shelf, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, but so the thing is that like nobody's there. It's the same people that see me every week. Hey, how's it going, J-Man? How's it going? And then we argue about. Last time we argued about Snyder Cut for an hour, and then then I'm late for dinner. So it's like
a lot worse talking to you than they are to me. Like it's always, hey, what's up? Talk to you later. See you next week.
Oh no, they wanted me. Well, actually, because there's another guy there, Professor Bill. He's got a great channel going. He's got a lot of subscribers. So he's like a good guy.
Bill.
You know Bill. Yeah, you know Bill. So Bill goes to that shop. Well, that's where we met. We met at the shop.
Nice.
So I've been on his show a few times, and I mean, like I was asked by the owner, I could do live streams in the shop. So once I get a better setup, I will actually be in the comic shop doing live streams, and I'll interview people at the shop. Like once I get that going out, that'll be sick. But yeah, I mean, comics, they're going down. People aren't buying them as much. They're raising the prices. So AT&T's raising the prices of the DC books by $1. So it's gonna be $6 American. That's like $7.50 for us, something like that. So that's a lot. That's a lot.
Comic books were like $1.50.
Yeah, the paper quality is super high, but I question that now. It's like, yeah,
this was purchased off. Yeah. This was purchased off the rack.
With $1, I could buy with $10, I could buy like 10 of those.
Yeah, we could track this. Check this out.
Yeah.
60 cents.
Oh man.
So this was $2.58, and then 50 issues later.
That's with the M logo. Yeah.
Oh, if you see this banner on a Marvel book, you should buy it because there's a 90% chance it's going to be good. After that, but I've got this one. This is a famous one.
Yeah.
Captain
America. That's always kind of weirded me out in the big So his entire was it his skin? Was the skull his skin, or was that just his skull? Like, how did that?
He wore a mask, but he had this red skull dust.
Yeah,
that he could like spurt you with or whatever, and it would like I guess eat your flesh and make you a red skull or something, and then I think it got sprayed back. I don't have this issue. I don't know, Sean, if you can help me out. Like, if you remember when this happened, I don't know when.
No,
but it came back. It came back on him, and then it made him the Red Skull for real. It was like Hobgoblin. Remember, Hobgoblin wore a mask, and then at some point in time, when he removed it, his face looked actually scarier than when he had the mask on. And I don't remember when that happened either. I'm not a numbers person. I don't remember. Issue 45 or whatever. Like, I don't know that.
No, you gotta remember like you're like at a cookout or something. Like, well, there was that one time where Red Skull sprayed himself.
Yeah,
it was crazy.
Well, usually if someone wears a fright mask, they end up getting that as their real face at some point. Like Black Mask carved the skull, the mask out of his father's coffin, and then it like melted onto his face, and that was it.
I hate when that happens.
Fun to do Batman movie. He'd be super fun to do. Like,
Black
seriously,
Mask?
He
was in Birds of Prey,
right? Yeah, but like if you were to put him in a movie, all you got to do is get like a really fun actor who could just really sink their teeth into it. And Black Mask, I don't know who could really pull that off. Like, who could pull off crazy? Like, I mean, Hugh McGregor, it was okay, but I want like a full on. I'm tired of these origin movies. I want to see a full on Black Mask where he's killing people, he's punching people, he wants to knock out his assistant, but he doesn't because she's a woman. He's like, and he just punches somebody else.
What happened to villains became so lame where they don't do anything. That was the other thing too. It's like that's what we were saying with Batman Forever. It's like at no point in time did I ever think Riddler was a threat on any level.
No.
And same with the Freeze and Ivy.
It's either that or it's either lame or a sympathetic villain. Like, I remember when I used to hate villains. Like, someone did something I really hated, and I'm like, and I would get angry. And I was like, go get him, Batman, or whoever it is was the hero of that thing.
Well, it's because they needed you to understand why they did what they did. And
I know, but in real life, that's not real. It's like in real life, there's no sob story for Hitler. It's like the guy's an asshole. It's like, it's like Kreese in Karate Kid. Yeah, I hate that guy. Like, I'm angry at that guy. I'm angry at those bullies. It's like I want their comeuppance, right?
Well, I like the worst was when they gave Michael Myers an origin.
White trash or the white trash origin. Like, his mom's a stripper. Oh,
he's purely and simply evil.
Worse things for your mom to be than a stripper.
I know.
Way worse thing.
And then they made fun of him. Oh no, because he was wearing a Kiss shirt. Where was the Kiss Army?
Yeah,
He was wearing.
there is a Kiss Army.
That would have
He
been
was wearing.
a
I mean, come on. Like, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, this origin crap. It's like just make the guy a bad guy. Like, make him a crook.
Yeah.
Like, well, that's it. Who cares? I'm okay with that.
like the same way they write heroes. They make him like, oh, he would never do anything wrong. But you love the villain. I think that's kind of an American thing because we love criminals, rebels. We love anybody who goes against the system. Whereas,
Louis Riel?
Yeah. Oh, jeez. I mean, look at the Joker.
Rebel.
He's almost a romantic figure now.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Well, yeah, there were people who said that, if Heath Ledger lived, the Joker would become a hero eventually. And I'm like, what are you talking about? But the thing is that it's and this is from the outside, America was built on rebellion, right? Like that's their origin.
Rebels.
They rebelled from England. I mean it's in the DNA of the culture of the society. They romanticize John Dillinger and Bonnie and Clyde and all these guys. Like who was the biggest hero on television in the aughts? Walter White from Breaking Bad.
And I didn't get that. I'm like, wait a second, you're glorifying a drug dealer who's killing kids, and that's okay. And
he poisoned that kid. Like,
no, Breaking Bad is just The Wire in the suburbs.
That's true. But like
The Wire was such a better show.
I like Better Call Saul a lot. I think that's
Better Call Saul.
I've never seen.
I really like Better Call Saul. I don't know. I like that one a lot.
I don't know. I don't know. I just feel like with nowadays, it's just seeming like they're trying to say people in the suburbs really fantasize about being drug dealers. They want in that life.
So I saw this thing. I saw this thing that a drug dealer. This is a study that a drug dealer, typical street corner drug dealer, actually makes less money than if he worked at McDonald's. As like
right,
because it's like they get nothing. They just give the money to the higher up, right? And it's like what they actually get, and for the amount of they could get arrested or killed or whatever. It's like it's not worth it. It's like just go to work at McDonald's and you'll earn the same paycheck and you'll be safer.
All right, guys.
The dream is that they'll become the head drug dealer, though, right? That's the
there's this YouTuber I follow. He has some of these videos. It's called like Being Black in Gotham, and they just have this whole rash, like this whole reason why, like you bring up Batman is Bruce Wayne. They're like, that's stupid. Okay, do you realize where we live? This is a dangerous place. Like, they even have guys working for the Joker. Even thugs like, nope, I don't want to deal with the Joker. Nope.
Just move. Like, come on, leave Gotham.
But if you think of, and they talk about like, oh, would you rather work at FedEx where you make considerably less money with them working with the Joker? Just do your job, and he's not going to kill you.
Well,
yeah, I know. I never understood how Joker acquires people.
Yeah,
it's like do you want to work for me? It's like, like work for the Joker. Great benefits. Asterisks. Joker may kill you out of frustration. Batman will definitely get you at some point. If Joker doesn't kill you, Batman will get you. It's like,
he shoots all his henchmen in the beginning of Dark Knight, like one by one. It's like right off the bat,
and it's like that wasn't very nice.
Could you imagine
that? Oh, sorry.
Could you imagine an interview from the Joker for a henchman? Like the questions he would ask?
Well, no, it wouldn't be the Joker. It'd be like his right-hand man. And like anytime the Joker kills somebody, like, come on, man, you can't just be shooting people just because you're mad. Like, you know how hard it is to get people in here? Like this guy right here. What are you thinking? I just want to go home, man.
This sounds like a Robot Chicken thing where like the Joker's like he's got Harley Quinn interviewing and she's like, so do you mind being shot, just randomly, or do you mind being punched in the face by Batman and then being arrested and spending the rest of your life in jail?
No, like, as a chance, it's called lean cuisine. Like he has a bunch of like how drug dealers would be in Gotham, how being black in Gotham would be. He talks about you cannot be a villain because you get imagine you're in Arkham locked up, every bone in your body broken.
Yeah,
you're a lot that's after you get beat up by the bat. You don't want just be a thug.
Hey, Gray Malcolm, you reminded me of something. Sean, you just rewatched Snyder Cut. What Arkham was called something else?
Criminally troubled. It's for the emotionally troubled.
yes.
Why did that get changed?
Because they don't.
Was it changed though in that universe?
No. I think that was more like one of those cosmetic things. They can't say the criminally disturbed anymore because it's not PC. It's kind of and also got Snyder Cut. Snyder, his daughter, she died from emotionally troubled.
I see.
Okay.
Cosmetic change.
Yeah. No, I just noticed that. I thought, hey, that's weird. I'm like, is that the name of it? And I thought, and I maybe if there was a plot point I missed, or a line of throwaway dialogue in that 4 hours where it explains something.
I remember watching it. I remember hearing that. I'm like, that is the stupidest name for an asylum I've ever heard.
They should have just called it Arkham Asylum then. Not give it
for the emotionally troubled. Pretty soon it's going to be for the lawfully challenged or whatever. What the heck are you talking about?
Speaking of Arkham, I would love to see that as a TV show. A person first day working at Arkham, and they're like, "Why do you take this job? The benefits are really good. It's you get paid immediately. You just got to deal with some crazy stuff." And then we just see cameos of Joker, Mad Hat, see a bunch of villains who we don't see all the time. We see Mad Hatter. We get
Mad Hatter.
Tweedledum and Tweedledee.
Tweedledum and Tweedledee.
Do they have them anymore? I don't know.
They had them in Gotham.
Yeah.
Or no killer guy we don't go in there. It's we just don't go in there.
Well, that's why I like the games. The games were so cool, especially the first one where you go into Arkham Asylum, and they're
cool.
we keep Killer Croc in the subterranean area because it's all watery and stuff, and we just leave him there. We don't want to deal with him. I thought that was a great concept.
We drop the food. We
just drop food down, and then But
they do that in Suicide Squad.
Yeah, they showed that in Suicide Squad.
They showed that, yeah.
Yeah, but they're in Baton Rouge. They're in that
Belle Reve.
Yeah, Belle Reve.
Somewhere else, yeah.
What's the difference between Belle Reve and Arkham? I mean, just one's in Gotham and the other one's in Louisiana, or?
Well, there's also Blackgate. Blackgate is the actual prison, not the asylum.
Yeah, so that's not the asylum.
Right.
There was a movie I heard about almost 15 years ago. They were gonna make a movie where
Supermax.
Arrow. Yeah, Supermax. Yeah. Green Arrow. He was wrong. He got he went to jail. He got caught on some trucked up charges, and they put him in there with all the villains, and they all know who he was.
Yeah.
And basically, it was gonna be like a battle royale type of situation where he's fighting everybody, and we see
that led to the TV series being produced because no one cared about Green Arrow, and then they made this spec script, and it had nothing to do with DC, and then someone turned it into a Green Arrow script, and it was way better, and then that got shopped around as this is great, let's produce it. They never did, but it led to talk about the TV series. So
that was so cool to see. I want to see a show about that.
That's cool. Yeah.
If you're a superhero and we saw it in Watchmen, but
yeah, that was the best. Rorschach was the best. We're trapping you with me.
Seriously, if come on, general public, they know about these. They know about these heroes and villains. If you get a hero, put him in solitary. You don't need these problems.
Yeah,
put him there. It's listen, bro, we don't want any problems. You're just gonna be here. We don't want anybody to die because that's extra paperwork for us. Let's keep it.
Why don't they just let? They should just let Wonder Woman go in. She'll kill all them all. She'll kill everybody. She's got no problems doing it.
She'll kill everyone. And
she'll just kill everybody.
Okay.
Just throw Wonder Woman. Can you? The asylum's a little overrun. Can you come kill everybody, smash them into the walls and stuff? Yeah, it's did you want school children present during this slaughter, or do you want to just slaughter them?
You know what? No, we got time.
No.
I'll just go and murder them all.
She'll bring nuns. She'll bring nuns next time.
Oh. That ain't right.
All right, guys, we've been doing 3 hours. This is the 3-hour tour, longer than the Middo or whatever.
3-hour tour.
In 30 seconds, it'll be 3 hours. Don't nickel and dime us.
Yeah. Earlier, we had to do a few moments of silence for some franchises. JJ taking over DC, so a moment of silence for that. The death of DC.
Yeah.
What other ones? Did we...
I think the Air Cup or whatever the hell.
Okay, real quick. I am so tired of Marvel coming out with these movies with these black-centered characters, and they always don't put them in the main movie, or they like we've seen it with Into the Spider-Verse, and we're seeing it with Falcon. Falcon could be a movie right now, and they don't.
It's very good quality.
Because it's really messed up. Like, wow, you guys don't think a black Captain America would work? You just say this is like
and that's the whole point of the show too, which is funny. But yeah,
which is funny. But you know what though? But the shows now. I don't want to. I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to say I'd rather have it as a show than a movie. But I'm liking the way that the show is because we're getting more. Yeah. Because if it was a movie,
movies get the mainstream hype though. And for a long time, they were the gold standard. They still are the gold standard of mainstream popularity. Right. But that's kind of going away. And especially with the pandemic, it might come back after the pandemic.
Maybe.
But like WandaVision was the highest watched thing in the world, not just in North America. Highest watched thing in India, China, Europe. Yeah. It was huge everywhere, and it was acknowledged. And that's, the tide is turning a bit. So I don't know about like Falcon and Winter Soldier might be getting up there too.
It's I've not heard
more eyeballs on it. So
I haven't heard anything bad. Falcon and Winter Soldier is amazing. I love it. I just see like the politics because
movies get more attention paid to them, and it's their moment in the sun. And it would be nice if, like a Blue Marvel or something would be would get a movie treatment, right?
So all I'm going to say on this is something I've said before. I'll say it quick. I actually there's a guy who works for my company who is legit from Zimbabwe. He's from Africa, right? My company did this big thing when what happened last summer, and they're like, oh, we're going to be, anti-black racism, and we're going to hire more black people as executives and stuff. And I'm like, all right, everyone's saying the right thing. So let me talk to this dude. And so I said to him a while ago, because they had a black mentoring thing. And I said to him, so all this stuff has happened 1 year later. What's changed for you? He's like, nothing. He's like, I'm still in the same area.
Nothing's changed.
They said a bunch of nice things, but nothing's changed.
Right.
Like,
they don't actually mean it.
No. Black Panther came out and they're like, I know it's terrible, but this is, as I've said before, the people we're expecting to get us out of these problems are the people who got us into these problems.
Right. So why is it going to be different now?
Yeah.
All right. My main where this comes from is Civil War. Like, Peter Parker. We could have had Peter Parker was great, but it would have been more interesting if it was Miles Morales. It's like, okay, we're gonna because remember all the hype of is like, oh, we're gonna have a black Spider-Man. They're like, okay, we get Peter Parker, like, wow. And then later on, into the Spider-Verse, it was cool, but it felt like a consolation prize. I always questioned
why Sony didn't do a live action Miles Morales. If they had to compromise so much on the Peter Parker Spider-Man and Marvel takes that creatively and then Sony produces them, why wouldn't Sony then do a live-action Miles Morales? I never understood. Maybe there's something to do with the contract they have with Marvel. I doubt it. No, because they have the rights to all of this. They could have done that. The cartoon is cool, I guess. I didn't like the some of the animation style, but I'm an old curmudgeon. But they could have done a live-action Miles Morales. Like Sony could have done that. They could have done it. I don't know what happened there.
All right, the reason why I don't think DC Warner Brothers would ever sell DC is the same reason why I don't think Sony would ever sell Spider-Man back to Marvel. Too much money. Like
they won't sell it.
Like there's another reason though, and for wrestling fans out there, you know what I mean. The worst thing that happened to WWE is when they bought WCW.
Oh,
kill the competition. you get lazy,
Yeah.
you get complacent,
Yeah.
and the product suffers.
And you change history.
Yeah.
You can rewrite history any way you want. Because we're seeing WWE do that now. They're changing. They're making it seem like they created the women's evolution. Like TNA was doing that 15 years before you were. And they did it better.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember that.
Yeah, that's yeah. You know, I think the way that I think Falcon and Winter Soldier, it's weird for me because when I watch a lot of these movies, I always go by the characters that, you know, and you guys all know, well, Steve and Sean know. I'm watching, I'm going by the characters. So, and I always have a weird interpretation of things that doesn't always mesh with other people. Like when I walked out of, you know, Civil War, I was like, you know, Black Panther was like the damn best in that movie, right? And like I never thought, and you could both attest, Sean and CP attest this. I was like, oh shit, Black Panther's the friggin' best. And I actually liked him more in that movie than I liked him in his movie.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm with you, man. I'm with you. Like Black Panther is really good, and then once you see it again, you're like, oh my god, this is Lion King.
Yeah. Hey, comic book people, what's going on, man?
Hey, I found the G spot.
Yes. Yeah. So like, so I walked out of that, and then Winter Soldier, that was the first ever Sam Wilson, I think, in live action ever, right? He was never in anything else. Yeah. So I walked out of that. I was like, oh man, Falcon is the damn best. And I didn't like his costume as much. I thought he needs to get a better costume. His costume now is beautiful. I love it.
Well, the actor complained, but anyway.
I know. Yeah. And after we saw that movie, I loved Falcon. And I bought the only Falcon thing that I could buy at that time was the video game thing where it was like a statue of Falcon, and it's like you can put him on. I don't know. It's a video game for Disney or something.
The Disney, can't remember.
Infinity,
Infinity.
So I bought 2 of those, one to keep in the package because I'm a nerd, and then I had a Falcon, and I was like, oh, Falcon's the best, and I was just so pumped up for him. And the thing is, it's funny because everyone's pumped up for Winter Soldier. Everyone's like, yeah, Winter Soldier was sick. I was like, I think Falcon was like my favorite. It's like, oh. And to me, he was the obvious best. And then I started to think, I'm like, this movie made it seem like he was the best because they gave him all the cool stuff to do. He's Captain America's buddy. And I always have a different opinion. Like I walk out with a different version. And even with 300, I'll say this too. Because I had a discussion with this guy who was like, oh, 300 is a terrible movie. I was like, how come? He's like, well, it made the Persian army look bad. I was like, the Persian army looked bad? I'm like, what? They looked awesome. I was like, the Persians were the best, man. Like they had those ninja, they had those like those vampire guys with them.
Yeah.
And they had all the big monsters. I was like, the Persians were the best. I was like, I thought the movie made the Persians look great.
Xerxes' voice was like amazing, man. Like,
Xerxes was the best.
I was like,
you will fool me.
Like,
I was like, Xerxes is the best character in this whole movie, and this guy's like, oh, it made because he was Persian, and he's like, oh, it made the Persian people look bad. I was like, it made them look good in my eyes. Huh?
What?
Yeah. They're antagonists, but they're not. Yeah.
Antagonist doesn't mean to me. Like, look, I'm looking for who's the coolest person in here. I'm like, these guys are, because the Spartans, they have red capes and that's it. I'm like, they look cool, but like, I'm like, yeah, but the Persians look way cooler. Like they have a lot more cooler artillery. They have like the better cavalry guys. It's like they have all these cool monsters. They had that big, huge ogre guy with them. Xerxes is like super gold, and I'm like, oh my god, this guy's the best.
And also you remember in that movie, the Persians were super respectful. They sent a messenger and say, hey, listen, we're coming. We're just like, listen, we don't want to take your land, but we can. But like, you know, and then they got kicked, and then the dude got kicked in a
into that pit.
Like, I'm just a bunch of guys in that
pit. There's a bunch of Persians in that pit now because there was like a whole bunch of guys who went in. I'm like,
they kicked them all in.
No, I would need to be the first. That's my. It's like imagine being a kid, like, oh, this is my first job. I'm going to live a message to the Spartans. Oh, wait, what? I knew I should have been a carpenter.
I never made a good Xerxes figure. I had the other figures. I had Leonidas, the queen, and they had the vampire thing, and they had the hunchback guy. What's his name?
Oh wow,
Ephialtes or whatever. Ephialtes, that was his name. Yeah, but yeah, Xerxes was like, I just thought that guy was the damn best, man.
No, but J-Man, what you said about Falcon, all right, I think I credit that all to the actor. I've been following Anthony.
He's awesome.
Because I've been following him since 8 Mile.
Yeah.
And,
I liked him in that.
And I don't know. His first scene where Captain America hit on passing him up, that was fun. And then also this is like a little bit when Black Widow went to pick up Cap, you saw Falcon like, sup. He was like, and she was low key with it. She was like, hey. I like Anthony Mackie.
Yeah.
Anthony Mackie's great.
Yeah.
There's so many great characters in this episode of Falcon Winter Soldier with Battlestar being in there.
Yeah.
I was complete shock when Battlestar. I was showing the comics earlier. I've got the first appearance of Flag Smasher. I got the first appearance of Battlestar. I got the first appearance of U.S. Agent, all from when I was a kid. And I didn't even know it was the first appearance of those characters. And I have comics where Cap is teamed up with Battlestar.
Yeah.
And I was stunned, and I was like, "Oh wait!" And they first said his name, which I don't recognize. Unfortunately, I don't remember the guy's like
alter ego.
Alter ego. And then it's like, and then he's like, "Oh, it's like, oh," he goes, "Oh, come on, I need more. I need more than that. You're not gonna just sit here and say your name or whatever." He's like, "No, okay." And he's like, "Oh, I'm Battlestar." And I was like, "Oh my god!" And then friggin' Isaiah showed up, and that actor's great too. And I was like, "Oh, dude, this is so cool." Now that I had to look up because that's 2000s, and I had stopped Captain America at that point. So I looked them up, and I thought they're gonna have every single super soldier there's ever been in this show. I'm like, this is so exciting to me.
Isaiah, though, like,
yeah,
okay. First of all, it really kind of. I wish Steve Rogers had found that out because he would have seen. This is kind of like how America does. Like, okay, first, we all know this. We all know that it was originally Isaiah, then Steve, because really, it's America. You really think America's going to do that to a white guy when they could do it to a black guy first?
Yeah,
right.
That's kiddie. I'm upset. But another thing about with Battlestar, I was like, wow, Marvel they really must have a lot of stock in John Walker because they gave him his own black sidekick. Like, he had one, Cap had one.
Yeah.
And I think he was Bucky.
He was Bucky, and he changed his name to Battlestar because it's too stereotypical for an African American to be called Bucky, right? So,
they changed that, but it was super patriot.
It's in the comic. He objects to it. He's like, I'm not going to be called Bucky. I'm going to call it something cool like Battlestar.
And they gave him the shield, and they gave him the triangular shield. And the thing is, I've got the Super Patriot, like where John Walker's Super Patriot on the cover, and Battlestar has the triangular, like it's not a triangle, but you know what I'm saying, like the triangle shield or whatever.
Yeah.
And his costume is more like Captain America, like ish.
Can we talk about how like Bucky is like he's like the Shaft of Wakanda now. They call him the White Wolf. It's like, who's that cool light-skinned man walking with that?
I love Shaft, by the way, just as a side note.
I would like if somebody say, "I want Sebastian Stan as the new Shaft," I'm like, go on.
Oh man, yeah, I have a Shaft hat from the I have a Shaft hat from the movie, like a beret that says Shaft on it or whatever. And I would wear that all the time, and then I stopped wearing it because I was scared. But anyway,
that was a gift, though. It was a treat, and that's what he said. America loves criminals.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
Heater shield. That's what that thing is called. Like the style of it.
Oh, okay, yes, heater shield, yes. All right, thank
you. But they changed it to a round one. You know the story, right? Because there was a character called the Flag, who was a Captain America type of character, and he had that as his costume, and so they made a deal with that comic company because they're like, don't have that triangle shield anymore. It looks too much like our character, so they turned it into a round shield.
Yep. So Rob Liefeld's doing the shield. Which is Archie Comics. They still retain the rights to that character. He predates everybody. He predates Fighting American. He predates Cap. And Cap is second, and then it's Fighting American is third, I think. Someone can look that up, I'm sure. But yeah, so Rob Liefeld has always wanted to do Fighting American. He did it in the 2000s, no, or 90s. He did Fighting American. You can look
guess
that
what?
up.
No one remembers it.
No, there's toys, man. I remember it.
No, his Fighting American. Like
yeah. And when the toys came out, they did both versions. They did classic.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I remember the toy, Sean. You remember? Look it up. You're going to remember that toy if you look it up. And then, so now coming out in June is going to be the Shield, which is going to be Rob Liefeld's version of the Archie.
Oh, okay.
It's not just going to be that character. There's other. I don't know all the Archie.
The other Archie characters.
They're
like
all
the Fly and what?
Yes, they're all in it. They're all.
Oh, cool.
That's cool. So it's going to be Rob Liefeld's take. I mean, I like Rob Liefeld. You know, his art and everything. It's cool to me.
I'm okay with it.
You know, he's okay. Yeah. So yeah, that's coming out. Maybe I might cover that. I don't know. Maybe I'll cover that. I'll see. The thing is, it's like if you cover Rob Liefeld stuff, like anytime I tweet Rob Liefeld, I tweeted him a picture of my little X-Force collection with his comics in the background. He retweeted that, liked it, and all that. So it's like you always get good mileage out of him because if you're pumped up for his stuff, he really like gets excited and then he retweets everything for you.
He's a narcissist, right? So yeah,
but which is fine.
But he's a changed man now. I mean, like he was an obnoxious little kid when when he was pissing people off in the 90s, right? So yeah,
that's my god brother Brennan. He's
what's up, Brennan?
All right, guys, we're gonna yeah. Go ahead. You want to say one last thing? Yeah.
I just saw the Suicide Squad trailer before getting on, and I just want to say, okay, James Gunn, if he was to do a Marvel movie, I would say. Do X-Force. Do classic X-Force. That'd be so much fun.
Yep.
It's just like, and plus you get kids actually cursing again. Can you imagine that whole movie with X-Force? Like, oh, we're gonna do this? Oh,
yeah, that'd be sick. Yeah, I know that. Yeah, everyone's all nervous now about like having anybody do anything now. It's like you can't. But like James Gunn doesn't care. He's a trauma guy. We talked about this very early when we first started the stream. He's a trauma guy. He doesn't give a crap anymore. That's why his tweets are all like, they're like, oh, his tweets are so terrible and Disney fired him. I'm like,
really?
Yeah, but
you know, it's for shock value, which they don't. It's like go watch any trauma movie.
And, exactly. You hired a trauma alumni.
Yeah.
Like, hello, like all trauma does is push buttons. Like literally.
Well, that's like
they did the diaper mafia. Like so, right after the trench coat mafia, in the very next movie they did, which was Toxic Avenger Part 4. They literally had the diaper mafia, and they went to a school for gifted children, not gifted, for mentally challenged children.
Challenged kids, yeah.
And they were literally killing them. And they're like, we're going to kill one of these kids every hour. And the one guy's like, not on Taco Tuesday. Don't do that. It's a terrible thing to happen.
Yeah.
Monsters.
And you're like, these are the people that you've hired, Disney. Like, did you watch anything that they've been?
I don't. Like,
well, it's like they hired Diablo Cody as a writer, and I'm like, what do you mean she was a stripper?
What?
Yeah.
I know Diablo Cody was a stripper. The writer of Juno was a stripper.
Yeah.
Good for her. She made her money. She was
it gets your money.
Got through university that way.
Like Tim Allen was a drug dealer.
Yeah.
Harrison Ford was a carpenter. I mean, like, let's.
Yeah, and are we saying that if you turn your life around, you're still going to be hounded by your crimes of the past? I mean, can you not redeem yourself?
In today's society, no.
Oh.
Well, not in today's society, but you should be able to.
No, we say that, but we don't really. Unless, I mean, look at the whole. Look at Michael Jackson. Like when he was alive, after the whole kid thing, we dog him out. It's like, oh, I wouldn't let Michael Jackson watch my kids on TV. And then when he died, everybody forgot about it and said like, oh, he's the greatest of all time. Like,
yeah,
phony. It's a lot of phony outrage.
Same with Kobe.
Paying attention to it.
Same with Kobe.
Yeah. He didn't do anything. The only thing he did was cheat on his wife with a consenting adult. I mean, come on. He's a basketball player, one of the best, and you don't think he could just smash any woman he can or he wants? Come on. Come on.
Everyone, when you're a big celeb like that, there's cheating all over the place. You start getting that stick out to like, you know, to measure everyone's like faults. Like, well, you know, this person cheated, that person. I mean, I don't like. Then you're going to erase every film they're ever like. Spencer Tracy's career is going to be destroyed.
We can't bubble wrap ourselves. You know, it's like
fast. Like, remember he got kicked off Ally McBeal for doing coke while he was filming. Like, come on, he's basically Charlie Sheen.
Yeah.
20 years from now.
Was it a fingernail?
Because no one in Hollywood has done coke before. You know, he was the first person to do coke.
Right. I like Coke Zero. I drink Coke. All right, guys, we're gonna end it. We're gonna end it. Okay, so Gray Malkin and I are gonna be back this Thursday talking some X-Men talk. That is Thursday, correct? Yes, Thursday. And then 1 week we'll be back again in the Danger Room. And then I still have my X-Fans thing. So what this is I'll talk to people who like X-Men. If you want to be part of it, it's just you don't have to have a channel like Gray Malkin or be an author like Steve or whatever. It's like anybody is welcome to come talk to me about X-Men stuff if they love X-Men, you know, however they got into it, whether it's movies, comics. If you want to be on that, let me know in the comments. In any of my videos or on Twitter, which is @LifetimeNerd. You can message me there or message me on any of the Facebook groups. You'll see me around, J-Man. Okay, so yeah, we're all going to be Gray Malkin. You're back Thursday, you and I. And Steve and Sean, I will see you guys next week. And I may do some impromptu live streams if something crazy happens and we feel like we have to talk about it. So, all right, guys, we're going to end it off there. Thank you. And all your links to everybody's stuff is going to be in the chat. The description. Everyone's links will be
always a pleasure, guys.
Yeah. All right, cool, guys. Thank you.
Take care.
Later.